Long way, get this shit a long way, hit the long way, long way, hit the long way, 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 shit, long way, long shit, long way, long way, long way, long way, long way, long way, get shit a long way, gotta get the shit a long way, gotta get the shit a long way, finish rich, yeah, gotta get the shit a long way, gotta know she don't really understand, man, gotta know she don't really understand, man, gotta get a meal, but she don't understand, she be trippin' every day, she be trippin' every way, but I gotta get this shit a long way, tryna get money every single way, tryna get money every single day, get money every single way, every day we gotta get paid, every day we gotta get paid, I'm feeling like we be the new slaves, no we gotta finish rich, no we gotta finish rich, got a new bitch, she don't understand rich, she don't understand, she's gotta get rich, she don't understand, sometimes we gotta hit lit, no we ain't hit lit, we tryna get the long way, gotta get the shit the long way, Coach is tryna wrap up a entree, told you the other day that did my phone strong, we gon' shoot the long way, we gon' get the long way, get the shit the long way, my bitch be trippin' back and forth like a phone way, my name is Tari, I ain't playing games, just another Tari, yesterday she told me that she about to leave, man, said fuck it bitch, we gonna get some money, said fuck it bitch, I'm about to get some money, so what I do today, I went and got some money, cause we gon' get the shit the long way, we gon' get the long way, back and forth like the pong way, man, I'ma get the shit the long way, get the shit the long way, just the only way today, because they go with shit's crazy, we gotta wear a mask, we the new slaves, and we be wearing this shit like every day, we be okay, we gon' be okay, they gon' be okay, they gon' be okay for me, so we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get this shit the long way, we gon' get this shit the long way, we get shit the long way, cause we gon' be okay, we gon' be okay, we gon' get the long way,
Hello, everyone. Hello. You might hear a little noise in the background. They're working on the yard. But any day, welcome. Welcome. Welcome to another edition of Savings Minus Debt. What's up, Andre, Alonzo? Now, I'm just gonna, from now on the introduction, I'm just gonna get straight to the point, okay? So you guys can get it. I'm just gonna be what I am, okay? I'm here to share my gift. And you're probably thinking, what is my gift? My gift is that I now can see that capitalism is psychological capitalism. And remember, I can prove everything I'm saying with math. So I'm not really, okay, there I go using that word prove. I'm here to share because I'm not here to prove mathematics to you. The definition of financial insanity is trying to make a debt slave trust math. That makes absolutely no sense. Why would you have to make somebody trust math? Now, logically, I understand that's part of the program, else psychological capitalism wouldn't exist. But I'm just saying it to you. I'm not here to prove anything because that's like proving mathematics, trying to make you believe the calculator. That would mean I was crazy. Okay. So I'm just here to share. Period. That's it. Okay. Psychological capitalism is psychological. Well, it's totally up to you to believe it. And I don't care if you believe in mathematics. If you don't, that's a psychological problem. I'm just here to share that with you. Okay. Credit reports are owner ledgers. That's what they are. They're owner ledgers. They keep track of the businesses that own you. It's not special. And then credit scores are reward points for staying in debt with those businesses, period. That's how it works. It's not a big deal. I don't care. I don't care how they do it, why they do it. What I clearly see its purpose. That's why I always show you guys my credit report. That's why I'm the only one on YouTube that has shown you, and I'm trying to show you guys. You guys just are not getting it. Okay. I'm the only one on YouTube that has shown you his entire credit report. You cannot find this anywhere else. Don't you? Doesn't that just? How come that alone doesn't click in your brain? Like, wait a minute. Yeah, he is the only one on any social media platform. Anyone, including YouTube, which is the biggest. I'm the only one that has done that. How come that doesn't click a light bulb in your head? That's because that's part of the program. You're not supposed to believe it. Okay, the majority must not believe what I'm talking about, even though it's all mathematically true. Okay, that's the amazing part about this gift. It's like amazing. It's just absolutely mind blowing. Okay. Now, from now on, I'm going to only come from you at the psychological capitalism perspective. I'm not explaining anything anymore. Okay. Now, when I was a debt slave in the debt matrix, I used to always wonder why are employers now checking credit reports? That never made any sense to me. And now that I know what you guys understand, those are clues. When you come across stuff like that that doesn't make sense, that's a clue. That's something that you don't know. Okay, because you're probably like, wait a minute, isn't credit reports used so I can finance stuff? Yeah, sure is. See if it's good. See if you've been paying your bills. Yeah, but then you think back, well, why would my employer want that? Because I'm not buying anything from my employer. They're paying me. You just really have no answer for it, right? Because it doesn't make sense to you. What you guys don't know, I'm just telling you, those are owner ledgers. When they run your credit, okay, this is just what I see. So I guess it makes it my opinion because I don't know for a fact. I would actually have to ask the company. So just to make sure you understand, it's an opinion, but it's a mathematical. It's an opinion that makes mathematical sense. Now you go to a job and they run your credit, and you're in collection, student loan debt older than your children. You're behind on payments. When they see all that, guess what? They have the power and ability to offer you a salary that's probably well below than what you're worth. You know why? Because you're in debt, and you will take anything that they give you. All they had to do is run your credit and see. Like, let me give you an example. Say, like, I was to ever go get a job, which will never happen again. But I'm just saying, okay. I go get a job and they run my credit. They're going to see I have no debt, zero, all zeros. They're going to run it. They're going to go past the credit score. But credit scores are for when you're trying to get loans and shit. There's no purpose of a credit score for an employer. That's just an indicator if you're good or bad, okay? And then they go in and see how much debt you're in. If they ran mine and saw that I own myself, and then I walked in saying, this is the salary I want for my services, they're going to know that I know, okay? You guys don't understand. That is the guaranteed to tell any motherfucker that say, look, I own myself. Have you ever seen one like this before? The answer is going to be no. Do you understand me? It's going to be no. And then from that point, that's how they know they can financially abuse you, make you work overtime. You guys beg for it. Hey, you guys fight for overtime. You guys fight to stay at work longer. It makes absolute man. And they're going to look at your credit report and see why you're doing what you're doing. You guys trap yourselves. You work overtime, working 80, getting all this money for 60, 70 hours a week. And then you go apply for a loan based on those hours. And now you're stuck. Now you can never stop working overtime because of who? Yourself. That's how they know how much they're going to pay you. That's how they're going to know the people that are going to work after hours, check their email on their phone during vacations. Never, when they go on vacation, they're never really on vacation because they're still checking shit at work while they're on vacation. That's how they check to see. They run your credit to see how many owners you have. See if you're running from owners. All they gotta do is look. Your credit score is irrelevant to the bigger equation, I promise you. And I'm telling you what is. I'm just here to be psychological capitalism. Kind of like if I just be it and just talk it, then you guys maybe you'll get it, maybe you won't. It really doesn't matter because the majority of you must not know. That's how it works. That's okay with me. It's all a choice. Same thing with you guys. Same thing with insurance companies. You're probably thinking, the big news. Hey, insurance companies are running people's credit reports. You know why? It's so easy to tell. I promise you, it's so easy to tell who is going to try to. The probability is high of who is going to try to commit insurance fraud with their cars. It's so easy to see. All they got to do is check if you're behind on payments and you can't keep up, and you're in collections at the same time you're making car payments. The probability of you committing insurance fraud is high. That's easy to see. Compared to, again, if they run my credit, insurance company run my credit, they will clearly see nobody owns me. I'm behind on nothing, never have in years. And they can't check your bank account, but they know right there, hey, yeah, he knows, obviously, because nobody owns him. The probability of him committing insurance fraud is very, very low to zero. Because they tell you right there, if you commit insurance fraud, you could possibly go to jail. Right there should tell you something. But you guys don't really listen to it right. It says, hey, if you do this, we're going to take away some of the time in your life by putting you in jail. And when you own yourself, time is the most priority. It sits at the top of the list. It comes above money. Okay, always. And you will never forget that, ever. And then you look at a law and says, hey, if you do this, we're gonna take away some of the time in your life. You say, well, I'm not gonna do that. Because you're doing insurance fraud for what? Money. Money is second, time is first. So if you catch yourself doing something for money that could possibly take away some of the time in your life, that means you got your priorities wrong. That means money's number one in your life and time is second. That's wrong. I'm here to tell you that that's absolutely wrong. And in order, listen, I want you guys to make sure this is fucking clear in your brains. You will never understand that capitalism is psychological if you never, ever, 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 ever own yourself. You can't. That goes against the laws of mathematics for you to ever know what I'm talking about, ever. It's so easy. I'm telling you, it's so easy. Your credit reports are a record of how you treat the business of yourself. Is the business of you in debt, underwater, running from shit? You're not going to treat an outside business better than the business of yourself. That's why they run your credit report. If you do that to yourself, it's easy for you to do things to businesses outside yourself. That's easy to see. Easy. So your insurance rates are going to be higher. That's obvious. It's like, why am I sure? Because you're in debt, behind on payments. You can't even keep up with your car payments. And now you're blaming the car, and you're in a financial straits, and now you're blaming the car of why you can't get anywhere because your car payment's too high. You're blaming that instead of yourself. Insurance probability is high. Insurance fraud probability is high. That's easy to see. You guys, it's like when you're in debt, okay, what you don't know is it's it's part of the program to help to make debt slaves believe that more money and a better life is in the future. When the present moment is the only moment that will ever matter, this moment right here. You can only create your present. I mean, you can only create your future in the present moment. Like, put it this way. Okay, so you can see. if you know, okay, say like you're going out there to do a felony that's against the law to make some money. Say like you're doing that, right? And you know the penalty for doing that, you could lose some of the time in your life. That's a problem right there. That's a problem. Wait a minute. I'm not putting time as number one. I'm putting money as number one. That's a problem. And when you're in debt and you don't know it, you start looking for outside sources, thinking you're going to create some wealth from something else. That's what they're selling to you. Some things that don't exist. It's just, and listen, it's not a bad thing. It's just business. Okay. It's just it's business. Okay. It's nothing personal. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's a business. That's all. Whatever. Selling you something that you don't have. Listen, you don't have money to put money away into retirement, buy insurance policies, to do this and that. You have no money to do any of that. You guys just don't understand that. You have no money to buy policies like that for it to do anything. Those are businesses. They're there to create money from you because you know no better. You don't know that you can't buy a policy of anything with no money. You can't do that. That's that's mistake number one. Now, in retrospect, it's not. I'm not saying the policies are wrong or you're not supposed to do them. Or no, I'm just saying that's a business. When you own yourself, you'll know exactly which policies to get and which policies to use to create even more wealth. You know exactly. You you'll know exactly. I promise you. You're probably thinking to yourself, well, Lynette, how would you know who to which insurance policy person to talk to about what you're talking about? Find a person who is personally debt free that can prove it with their credit report. That's it. That's all you have to do. Just say, hey, show me your credit report. I promise you, an insurance sales person that owns itself is going to be very different than ones that do not. I promise you this. And will tell you exactly which policies to use and how to use those policies. I promise you. Because they see something that the others do not because they can't, because it's against the laws of mathematics for them to see it. That's how they keep track of your debt slaves, your credit report. That's why every companies are using them. Insurance companies, you guys pay. Again, when insurance companies run my credit report, they already know I know, obviously, because I own myself. That's the passport, baby. That is the passport. Now I try to show you guys. It's like I do. You know what's so crazy when I do it? I do things that you clearly understand, clearly are seeing that nobody else does, and you still don't believe. Now you got to ask yourself, why don't I believe that? Why do even though he's proven it mathematically, how come I don't believe it? I'm just here to tell you that's part of the program. That's why you don't believe it. Because what you're saying is that you don't believe mathematics, and that's a psychological problem. If you don't believe mathematics, that's a psychological problem. Like, open up your calculator, put in your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance, and hit equal. You clearly see that's a large negative number on the calculator. What kind of house can you buy with the amount of money being shown to you on your calculator? No house. But yet you still believe you're a homeowner. That's a psychological problem. Do you understand? If it's not mathematically true, it's psychological for you. Your credit report shows everything. It's an owner's ledger. That's how they keep track of you, all you debt slaves. Credit reports. It doesn't, hey, listen, It doesn't matter what what debt slaves show, what you guys show each other, cars, houses, properties. It doesn't matter. Do you guys understand that? If I one look at your credit report will tell me if you own anything, if you don't own yourself, I don't care what you have. You don't own it because you don't own yourself. You guys, debt slaves, you guys just don't understand. You guys don't really understand people like us walk around amongst you. You don't even know. You guys be showing off all this shit that you don't even own. It's bananas. It's crazy. You guys are impressed by it. The majority of these so-called, what you guys don't get, the majority of the financial people that you guys are getting advice on YouTube, right? Everything they're saying goes against the laws of mathematics. You guys just don't know it does. Nothing is. The majority of what you hear on the internet, it's just business. I'm not saying it's wrong or whatever. I'm just telling you something, okay? The majority of what you hear makes absolutely no mathematical sense. They break all the laws of mathematics, but you guys have no idea that it does. Even though everybody has the calculator app on their phone. Ain't that bananas? That's crazy. Like I said in my community area of the YouTube, I said one day they're going to remove the they're going to remove the calculator app off the phone because you guys don't use it. And when they do that, when they remove the calculator app off of phones, you guys are in bigger than big trouble. You guys are in big trouble. You guys are in very, very big trouble. As a person, I understand capitalism is psychological. Sometimes I go to these channels, man. You guys are reading articles. The average person is this, the average person is that. The average. You guys don't know to listen and say, hey, maybe I should stop being average because the average person is in big trouble. All you got to do is stop being average. You think you hear me on the mic? You think I'm average? No, I'm not average. I'm not part of that group. Only debt slaves are. I left the average a long time ago. A long time ago. And when I say leave, you got to leave mentally first. You got to first you got to understand mentally that you're in it before you can leave it. Like when you hear me say, hey, a credit score means nothing, that must just blow your mind. What do you mean a credit score doesn't mean anything? What are you talking about, LJ? Yeah, it means nothing. I'm sure I sound crazy. Like you must be crazy. Everybody believes in credit. No, all debt slaves believe in credit scores. Okay, you guys just don't know that. Exactly. Arlene, it says, whenever you hear an article says the average, and they started out with the average this and the average that, and then it sounds like they're talking to you. Yes, because you're part of the average. When I hear articles like that, I know they're not talking about me or to me. Commercials, listen, commercials are not even talking to me. That's why I don't listen to them. I'm not their target. I promise you that. They're just debt slaves. You have no idea what can be told just by your personal credit report. You have no idea how powerful that shit is. Powerful. It just says, how have you been treating the business of yourself? Man. Crazy. It's absolute. And when I show you guys my credit report, you guys don't even think it's a big deal. You look at it and say, now don't get me wrong. If you see a credit report like mine and it shows all zeros, you don't really know how to respond to that. I get it. I told you, like, oh, what's that mean? That means I own myself. That's what that means. That means nobody, all those zeros means no business owns me. That's what that means. Now, in your defense, I'm sure you've never seen a credit report that looks like mine. I'm 99.99% sure that you have never seen it. First, because number one, you guys don't show each other your personal credit reports. You guys are so fixated on the score, you don't show your actual credit report to each other. You guys just don't do that. So you've never seen that. So I don't mind explaining it to you because you've never seen it. Hell, you probably married to somebody and have children by somebody and you've never seen their personal credit report. That's a problem. Do you understand me? That's a problem. Because that'll answer a lot of your questions. Like, say like you're in a relationship and you just can't figure out where the money's going. All you gotta do is check your partner's personal credit report and it will tell you where the money's going. That's it. You know, you figure, hey, this person's working all these hours but never have no money. All you gotta do is check the personal credit report and it will tell you where the money's going. Why? Because they're doing it to themselves. And that record will show it that they're doing it to themselves. That's where your answers will lie. I promise you. Same thing goes for relationships. Why do you think the employers are they're doing it for business? All you got to do is to own the business of yourself and you will check everybody's personal credit report that tries to come into your life. If it even gets that far. Because speaking psychological capitalism is a whole different entire language that debt slaves have no idea exists. Nothing. You guys don't know about negative compound interest. You've never heard of that. Here I am adding to an Einstein quote, compound interest being the eighth wonder of the world. He who knows compound interest earns positive compound interest. He who doesn't pays negative compound interest. All I did was clarify the word it. Now, when you hear me say that, you don't think it's not a big deal, right? But then you got to think back, who throughout history has ever done that? Added to an Einstein quote without changing the meaning, actually making it more clear by defining the word it. Have you ever, Google it, see if anybody has done it? No, I can tell you right now, I don't even have to look. Nobody's ever done that but me. Why? I'm not saying I'm superhuman power, what bloggity blah. I'm just saying something. The reason why I can see it is because I own myself. That's why I see what he's talking about. It's not difficult to what he's saying. Oh, I get it. Okay, got it. Oh, I'm thinking when I read that Einstein quote, you know what I said to myself? Debt slaves don't know what the word it means. They don't know that. You're assuming when he says it, he's talking about compound interest. Yeah, that's true. That's true. He's talking about compound, but you can clearly see in his quote, he says, hey, he who knows earns it, he who doesn't pays it, or something like that, right? He's clearly defining something that is different between the two, even though he's still talking about compound interest. You guys didn't know that. So I had to come in and say, here he's talking about positive compound interest, and here he's talking about negative compound interest. That's it. That is it. And how come I could see that? Because I own myself. That's how I can see it. Now, I've just done something that has never been done in history, ever. I've never seen nobody do that, ever. But I just did. Now, everybody believes Einstein is so smart. That's why they keep referencing his name. Not saying that he's not. I'm just saying something. Hey, who do you think? You're Einstein? Because they say that because he's smart. So here, what does that make me? If I come in and add to an Einstein quote, making it more clear for you to understand it, what does that make me? Am I smart as Einstein, or am I not? I do things to show you something that you cannot see. It's crystal clear. I'm doing things that nobody else does. Isn't that clear? It seems like it to me. And I'm not trying to show off or anything. I'm just telling you, I just trust the calculator. That's it. I'm not saying I'm a super brainiac genius with a big old alien brain from a different planet. No, I just say, hey, calculator, I believe you. That's it. Now, I know when you hear me say that, you struggle with, hey, if it was that easy, everybody would be doing it. Yeah, that's true, but it's obviously not true. Isn't that obvious? Trillions of dollars worth of student loan debt. Do you think everybody's using a calculator? That's no. Trillions of dollars in mortgage loan debt. If you think everybody's using the calculator, that's the answer is no. Isn't that obvious? It's trillions of dollars in student loan debt and credit card debt and car loan debt. Again, I don't care because that's called business. I get it. I don't, whatever. I don't care what they charge you guys for interest on a depreciating object, finance and taxes and interest. I don't care what they do to you. That's called business. I'm not here to prove anything to you because that would be like trying to prove math to you. I'm not doing that. That makes me crazy. That would make me have a psychological problem, and I don't have a psychological problem. I don't. You believe you're a homeowner even though it's not mathematically true. Who's the crazy one? I don't get it. I don't, that doesn't make any sense to me. You believe you bought a house with a mortgage? That's not true. Why you keep saying the word buy? You didn't buy anything. Your credit report will show that you don't know. If it doesn't make mathematical sense, it cannot make financial sense. Don't you know that? No, you don't, because that's how it's supposed to be. I'm not explaining it anymore. I kind of tied it in a personal finance, but I got to untie it because even saying personal finance confuses you, debt slaves. It just causes confusion. I don't want you to think any of that. I'm here to help you own yourself, period. All that financial stuff that you're trying to deal with, trying to figure out, all that will naturally fall into place once you own yourself. You'll see credit and credit scores for what they are. Credit is a business. If it's a business, that means it's a tool. It's not a need. They tell you guys all the time, hey, you know, credit card companies are private businesses. They sure are. That's not a secret. That means it's a tool. It's not a need. If you need credit, that's a problem. If you think you're you are profiting from properties you don't own, that's a psychological problem. You cannot profit from a rental property with a mortgage. You can't do that. Who said you could do that? All your other friends that are doing the same thing as you? That's why you guys think that, because you guys are all doing the same thing. Hey, if I just put a renter in there and the renter will be paying my mortgage, the bank doesn't care how you pay your mortgage and with whom, as long as you pay it. Hey, my renter's paying my mortgage for you. What's your reason for saying that? The bank doesn't care how you pay your mortgage, whatever. And if you think you're profiting from a property you don't own, that's a psychological problem. You think you're going to profit before the bank. You couldn't have got the property without the bank. But in your mind, you think you're going to profit before the bank? No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not. I promise you, you're not. You know, you're probably thinking in your head, hey, the mortgage is 1,000 and I'll put a rent in there for 2,000. That means I'm profiting 1,000. No, you're not. What do you think you're going to profit before the bank? The bank had the money to buy the house, but you believe in your brain that no, you're not. Got a mortgage on your you got a mortgage on your house and you got a mortgage on your rental property and you think you're profiting. No, you just have two mortgages. And you will have two mortgages until you pay the bank back all their money. Now the bank's been at this for centuries, obviously. You know how, just think about it, okay? Can you imagine how long it took to make millions of people believe they own houses with mortgages, that takes centuries, people. That doesn't happen overnight. Okay? That doesn't happen overnight. Hey, listen. That takes centuries. Imagine how long it took for them to make people believe that they can buy houses with student loan debt. That takes centuries. And you guys think you're leveraging the bank? No, debt slaves, they're leveraging you. They couldn't be anything without you. Without without you. And you're probably thinking, what do you mean, LJ? I'm just here to tell you that they don't own me. I don't care what they do, what they charge, what interest rate they charge. So what? It's their money. They can charge whatever they want to charge and how they want to do it. Who cares? It's their business. Man, when I hear you guys talk, hey, listen, when I hear you guys talk about leveraging the bank, oh my, you guys have no idea what you're saying to each other. You're not leveraging nothing. You're leveraging yourself. Oh man, it's like, it's horrible. And I laugh because they were doing that to me too. I thought that too. I thought the same thing for years, right? I thought I could own shit with student loan debt. I really did. Because you hear your friends doing it and they're telling you how much money they're making, but you don't know what you're listening for. You don't know that they can't buy properties with mortgages. You can't do that. So you hear the money that they think they're profiting between the renter and the actual mortgage payment. And I'm just here to tell you that's not true. Okay. All you got to do is turn to them and say, do you got a mortgage? Yes. So everything they're describing to you is not true. It's not true. Debt slaves you guys have no idea. All you got to do is make your main goal to own where you live. Once you do that, you have just eliminated your largest expense for the rest of your life. You have just eliminated it. It's gone. You think people with mortgages, you think they know that? They still think they're homeowners making payments. The very fact that you're making payments to the owner, how come that doesn't click in your mind? Like, hey, if I was the owner, then who the fuck am I paying? Because homeowners pay nobody because they own the home. Do you understand? I don't want you walking around thinking you're say like you're living next to a person. You guys have the exact same home, but he owns his in cash, and you making payments, but you still think you're like him. You're nowhere near that person. Do you understand? Nowhere near him. Like when you see the property value in a neighborhood go up and you have a mortgage and you think it's happening to you, you really believe you're profiting the same person that doesn't have a mortgage. I'm here to tell you that that's not true. And you're also thinking, and here's the big program that you guys always run, but you guys really don't know you're telling on yourselves when you say it. As soon as I say the only way to buy a house in cash, the first thing you think in your brain is, who has the money to buy a house in cash nowadays? You know what you're saying? You're saying you don't have the money. When you say that, you're saying you don't have the money. You. Because there are people that can't pay for houses in cash. They could know why? Because they know that's the only way to buy a house. You can't buy a house with a mortgage. People that buy houses in cash know for a fact that you cannot buy a house with a mortgage. Those are the people. We say, Jeffrey, you never own a home if you never own a home if you don't have a mortgage. Try not paying those taxes. The real owner will show up. And that's another program too. Okay, I want you That's another program. Wait, if you pay off your house, you still don't own it because of taxes. Okay. There's two ways to look at that, especially people that say that. If that's true, if everybody knows that you truly will never own a home because of taxes, why are millions of people financing houses that they already know that they'll never home? You guys got to think of the things that don't make sense. Then if that is true, why are millions of people financing houses that they already know that they will never own because of taxes? That's a program, you guys. Those people, listen, the people that normally say that are the people that have never paid off a house or never bought a house in cash, never truly owned it without the bank. Only people, those people say that. Because if you have the mentality to pay off a house, by paying off a house says that you have the mentality to know that you're not going to lose it because of taxes. Do you understand? Because when people say that, you're comparing yearly taxes to a monthly mortgage. Anytime you hear people say that, that's what they're doing. There is no comparison to yearly taxes on a house compared to a monthly mortgage. There is no comparison. So if you paid off a house, you would never, ever, ever, ever lose it because of taxes. That wouldn't happen. I promise you that. That would never happen. You would never pay your taxes because you understand that taxes are the backbone of the whole system. True? That's a whole, hey, what Andre is saying is a whole different level. Okay. I sometimes when people say what Jeffrey said, and I'm not just picking on you, Jeffrey, I'm just saying in general, when people say that, I know what level they're at. So I know where I'm going to stop. That's where I know I'm going to stop. Because once you understand taxes, you understand that you can legally never pay them again. I mean, President Trump was telling you, President Trump tells you guys that, hey, I make all this money and I barely pay any taxes. You think he's going to say that? Listen, you think he's going to say that because he's doing something illegal? You think he's going to say that publicly? No, he's just saying something that you can do too. You can do that. You just have to know you can do that. You should be receiving more taxes than you. That's true. Again, that's another level. Because right now, if you're a person that thinks taxes are bad and evil, that means when you feel like that about taxes, because you got to ask yourself, why am I having feelings about a thing? Taxes are a thing. And if you feel bad about them, that means you don't understand them because it's just a thing. Taxes allow us to have certain goods and services. Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Hey, whatever. I Alonzo, I don't care what they do with taxes because that kind of stuff. Yeah. How can I explain this? I understand taxes are my friend. Taxes help build wealth. That's what they are. So they're just a thing. I see what their purpose is, what you guys see their purpose is, but who pays them is you. You guys are debt slaves. You guys pay those taxes. I don't care where high taxes are in California or Malibu. I don't really care because I'm not paying them. You guys are paying them. Debt slaves, debt slaves are the ones that now when I say pay taxes, I mean everybody legally, lawfully is required to pay taxes. I understand that, but when you don't understand how taxes work, the only thing I can say is you're paying them. Yes, I'm paying them. I file my taxes, of course. Yes, I'm paying them, but not like you. You guys finance them. You guys finance taxes. Do you know that? Compounding negative interest financing taxes. That's why you hate taxes, because you finance them. You're probably thinking, what does that mean? Okay. And I know I said I wasn't going to explain, but I'm going to do this one. Okay. Say like a car is $30,000 and the taxes on that car It's $3,000. You guys go get a car loan for $33,000. That means you finance the taxes at an interest rate of compounding negative interest, because if you're paying interest, you're paying negative, you're paying negative compound interest. That's what you're doing. And your credit report, listen, your credit report's going to tell it. Back to the job, right? Do you understand when your credit report tells the employer how much trouble you're in, they're going to abuse you. Do you understand? And you're going to do it, and you're going to take it. You're going to be accepting of a boss that talks to you like shit, having you staying and work off the clock, have you working from home when it's not your turn. It's like this. Check this out. Check this out. And I tell you guys my experience. All right. I was a computer engineer for 20 years. All right. And being on call is part of the job. Like 1 week you're on call for 20. You can be called during that time. You're the point person 24 hours a day for 1 week. And it happens every few months, right? Okay, that's understandable. Okay, that's part of it. But you know what? I used to get calls in the middle of the night when I wasn't on call. Now that I understand how it works, they wasn't paying me for that, because I was salary, right? When you're salary, you think you're above hourly for some reason. I don't know why we think that, but that is not true, okay? They told me about the week that I would be on call for the 20, and they're going to pay me accordingly. But they always called me when I was not on call, because I was very good at with the VMware software. They called me all the time. And you know what I did? I got up every night, the nights they called, and answered it, and got online and did. And do you understand? They was not paying me for that, because I was supposed to be asleep. If I'm not on call, I don't get calls. But when you're in debt, when they run your credit report, guess what? They're going to know you're going to answer those calls even though you're not on call. This is for all you IT engineers that know about this on-call thing that I'm talking about. If you are answering calls in the middle of the night when you're not on call, you are doing that for free, and you're doing it to yourself. The employer's not doing, let me tell you something, the employer's not doing anything to you. You don't have to answer those calls. If they say, hey, we tried to call you and you didn't answer the phone, you say, yeah, why would I answer? Because I'm not on call. This is what I strongly suggest you guys do, okay? Because this is what I would do if I was back into my old job. This is what I would do. I would get a separate phone. I wouldn't, it's like, I get it. It's crazy. Like when most of the IT jobs, the business pays for your phone bill, right? They'll pay for your phone. And you're like, cool, man, I'm saving money. Well, what that really means is that you're giving them 24-hour access to your life. That's what you're doing. You don't even know that you're doing it. That money's not free. You think you think they're paying your bill for out of the kindness of their heart? That's a business move. Now you'll automatically feel obligated to answer the phone every time they call because they're paying the bill. Man, that is genius. But now if I was back in the day, I would have two separate phones. I would have my personal phone, and I would have a work phone and a work number, and say, when you call me, this is the number you call. You don't have access to my personal phone. No. That's business. And then when I'd be on call or at work, I would carry it with me. Even for that week, I'm on call. But if I'm not on call and I leave work at 5, the phone is powered off and put in the desk. There is no reason for me to even listen. There is no reason for me to answer that phone because they're not paying me for it. So of course it stays there. But what you guys do is tie it to your personal phones, and they pay for your phone, and you're going to answer it every time. Why? Because you're debt slaves. I know, LJ, but you have got to know the game. Real talk. I own a lot of my stuff. Okay. No, nothing to do with real math, just math. People don't even add something to it. Just say math. What's up, Malika? Man, employer, employer. When I look back at it, employers can do, man. Ooh, yeah, they can do a lot with your personal credit report, man. They can offer salaries that well below what you're asking. Oh man, because they know you're in trouble. But don't get me wrong. If you and just because you know this, I'm not saying that just because you understand capitalism is psychological and you don't work. No, you have a job, but I promise you, the job environment is very different for people that understand that capitalism is psychological. And if it's a job, if it's an employer that checks credit reports before hiring this person who understand, they're going to know by their credit report that they are there because they want the job, not because they need the job. There's a big difference, especially in interviews. You guys don't know because you're debt slaves. You don't know. But when you need a job, you give off a different type of energy. You respond different to questions. You just don't know that because you need the job. You're not looking around like, do I really want to work here? Who's the manager? How did the like put it this way? Say like I went to an interview as a person that understands capitalism is psychological and nobody owns me, right? And I'm scheduled for an interview at 10 o'clock a.m. Okay. I show up at 10 a.m., but the person that's interviewing me is late. That's a problem for me. That means not only do they not manage their own time well, now they're infringing upon mine because they require me to be here at 10 and they don't show up on time. That's a problem. And I would address that in the interview. Do you guys always show up late? You guys don't know to ask those type of questions. You guys just hey, they always, and this happened to me many times. Hey, sorry, yeah, I was running behind. Well, you had me scheduled at 10. Why are you running behind? You scheduled the meeting. I show up on time and you don't. No, that's unacceptable. Now that means that manager is going to be doing that to meetings with you person. Hey, let's schedule a meeting to go over your performance, and then they show up late. People like me walk in with their salary requirements. I don't care about some chart that they have. Hey, go to here, step A, B, C, point 5, and that shit is ridiculous. You look at that chart and say, you mean it's going to take me 10 years to make that amount of money? Hell no, I ain't taking that long. Hell no. Here's my salary requirements right here. And you're very good at what you do. Say like you're very good at what you do. Here are my salary requirements. Look, and and I would say this in the meeting. Did you guys run my credit report? They're gonna say, yeah. Did you see anybody that owns me? Have you? I'll say just like this. Have you ever seen anyone like that? Have you ever seen a credit report like that? They're going to tell me no. And then I'm saying, well, that's obviously should tell you something that I own myself and I'm very good at what I do. Here's my salary requirements. I don't care about that fucking chart you guys have. I don't care. You think I'm gonna wait 10 years to make that amount of money when I know I can make it that money today? Hell no, I'm not doing that. Do you want me or not? You think Apple, listen, you think Apple don't have people like me working for them? Do you believe that? I hope you don't. Cell phone companies, you think they don't have people like me working for them? I hope you don't think that. They have billions of dollars. Obviously, they know capitalism is psychological. That's pretty obvious. That's pretty obvious. That's pretty clear to me. Hey, that's clear. Look at Walmart. That's clear. They understand capitalism is psychological. That is crystal clear. It all is controlled by your credit report, man. Employers, hey, listen, employers got the advantage when they run your credit. Like the 401k match. Don't, you guys all say the same thing. Hey, don't leave free money on the don't leave free money on the table and this and that. Mm. And when I sit back, I sometimes I gotta laugh because it happened to me. I was like, damn, I didn't see that. That's what I say to myself. When I see 401k matches, I go, damn, I did not I did not see that. Sure didn't. Hey, I'm maxing out my 401k. You're maxing out what? The 6%. Oh, that's not max. You don't know that's not maxing. That's called bait. That means they want more. If you guys believe you're getting free money, more of you guys will participate. That's what that's what that is, because you guys are not getting free anything. Don't leave that free money on the table. Man, you guys say all the same shit. That is horrible too. You got videos on YouTube talking about, hey, get that 6%. Don't leave it on the table. You guys don't know the answer. Hey, what table? What table are you talking about? Leave money. What money on what table? You guys don't know to ask that question, answer that question. What table? Sir, excuse me, ma'am. What table are you talking about? You guys don't know to say that, man. They do, man. They do. You guys, when you guys hear when you guys hear the word equity, you guys think it's money. Equity's not money. Oh man, I flipped this and flipped that, and I earned. No, you didn't. You didn't earn nothing. Because why? Because you didn't have the money to buy it. You guys believe you own the equity in things that you didn't have the money to buy. That is. Did you hear how I said it? You believe you, and that you guys throw that word equity and leverage around like it's nothing. You don't even know you're talking about yourself. It's you. You are the equity. Like, open your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance equals you are the equity. That's what that means. You. Your mortgage payment minus your mortgage balance means you are the appreciation. You. If it's not mathematically true, it's psychological to you. See? You psychologically own rental property. Psychologically, not mathematically. And I know you start, well, if that's the case, why are millions of people are doing it? Because that's what they're supposed to do. Okay. That they're doing what they're supposed to do, like you. Like you. That's okay. That is okay. I don't care what. Hey, you guys are supposed to do that. That's what you're supposed to do. Why do you think, for example, why do you think CarMax is so big? Because you guys are doing what you're supposed to do. Finance cars. Do you understand? That's how it works. When you walk into a car lot, financing a car with student loan debt older than your children, guess what you're going to get? You're going to get financially abused because you don't know you can't buy a car with student loan debt. You can't have student loan debt older than your car. That's a problem. Listen, if you're listening to me in your car right now, and your student loan debt is older than your car, you got to ask yourself, how am I driving this car? Now, I know that's going to be mind-blowing, okay? You're going to be like, what does he mean? How am I driving this car? I know you're going to say it. Now, listen one more time. If your student loan debt is older than your car that you're driving today, you got to ask yourself, I want you to pull over. I want safety first. Pull over. Drop the mirror, the sun visor, open the mirror, because every car has a mirror. I want you to look into the mirror and say, if my student loan debt is older than this car, how am I driving this car? You got to say that to yourself. If you dare do it, I suggest you do it. And then when you're done saying that, I want you to look around and see all the traffic you're in right now and say, if I didn't have this car, I probably wouldn't be in this traffic. No, you got to say, if I didn't have, listen, You got to say to yourself, if I didn't have this car, I wouldn't be in this traffic. Okay, that's what you got to say to yourself. That's why you're in traffic, because of the car. A car that you're not don't even know how you got, because your student loan debt is older than the car. Now, if you figure out that, listen, it's not a riddle. I promise you, it's not a riddle. You will slowly start to figure out why. That's what will happen. Okay. Now, again, I don't care what the banks do. The banks are doing what they do. That's how they make bread. That's a business. I don't care how big they are. I don't care where they have, but I don't care. That means when I look at banks now, this is what I think. They just started centuries before me. That's all. They got I'm in my 50s. Okay. All right. I got a limited amount of time. Okay, I do. Because that takes centuries. What I'm sharing with you today is passed down, obviously passed down in those families. It's passed down to them. They just, hey, capitalism is psychological and this is how it works. And it's just passed down through the generations. That's all. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. I get it. Because that's how it's supposed to be. People don't people don't know that debt is the new form of slavery, or just plain acting country dumb. Well, debt is nothing new. Slavery, slavery went from physical to psychological. That's all. Slavery never left. Okay. Debt has no race, color, man, woman. It has no jealousies of religions, of anything. It's just math. And when you own yourself, you understand this. And once you own yourself, time becomes the most valuable commodity on earth. Of course it is. You're going to be dead one day. Of course it is. And when you find yourself putting money above time, that's a red flag. That's an indicator that you're doing something wrong. There's something that you don't understand when you start doing that. I promise you that. Because that's an indicator. Hey, if I do that, I can be sent to prison for 10 years. You can't, and once you do those 10 years, you can't get that back. So that's wrong. Because most of the people that are doing that, they're doing that for money. That means you're putting money number one, and then time number two. That's the wrong order. You are creating your future right now, because if you get caught, now you created a future of 10 years in prison. You created that because they told you before you did it. And let me put this link out here just in case somebody got some questions. Because I've been getting a lot of new members, subscribers, and I welcome you all. I welcome you all, because I know, hey, you see those shorts, man. You're like, what? What the hell is he talking about? That's stupid, but you're so intrigued. You have to come see, because you've never heard it before. That's what intrigues you. Second, you want to find something that is just, you want to find something that is wrong. You have to, you just like, you're searching and searching and searching. But I'm here to tell you, you're not going to find anything. I promise you, you're not going to find anything. You might as well just stop looking for something wrong, because math is never wrong. Because that's what you're doing. If you're looking for something wrong, what you're really saying is that you're looking for math to be wrong. Your search will be endless, because math is never wrong. So you're going to be searching forever. I'm like, what are you looking for? Because can you imagine how many people probably throwing my name at like channels that like to debunk people or call them wrong, or they're scamming or whatever. Have you noticed that has never happened to me? You know why? Because math is never wrong. Math is not a scam. Math is not tricking anybody. That's why. I'm telling you guys why. I understand this is a big financial red pill to swallow. I get it. This information will change your life. Most definitely change your life forever. This information could help a relationship grow or end it. It's going it's going to be one or the other. Grow or end. What do I mean? Say like a couple comes across SMD channel and one gets it and the other one doesn't. The person that gets it is either going to convince the other person or show the other person what it is, and then they will grow together, or the other person will be resistant, believe payments are just part of life. It is what it is. That's the only way I'm going to have a new car, blah, blah, blah. That relationship's going to be over. I'm here to tell you that relationship is going to end. Because once you know, you cannot unknow. So you'll know what the purpose of everything. You'll know what the purpose of credit reports are for. It's a record of how to the business. Your personal credit report is a record of the business of you. Not your credit score, your credit report. What's in it? It's to see how many owners you have. How many owners do you have? How many owners do you have? All you got to do is listen to a way a person talks about money. And then if you could see their personal credit report at the same time, you would know if they're full of shit or not. You know right away. A person that says they own all this stuff and you look at their credit report and they don't even own themselves. That's why when you understand this, when you live in my world, people's stuff does I don't look at people's stuff the same way you guys look at people's stuff. Like if somebody rolls up in a Ferrari, I don't know how they bought it. Yeah, the car is nice, but I don't know how if they're making payments, who cares what they're driving because it's not theirs. If they're making payments on it, if somebody rolls up in a nice car and they're making car payments, who cares what they're driving? It's not theirs. That's how I look at things. That's why I don't see, hey, look, I just bought a house. You got a mortgage? Yeah. Who cares what you think? You didn't buy anything. You can't buy anything with a mortgage. Now, if we talk to everybody every day and told that, I would be going crazy. Hold on for a quick second. Can you guys hold on for a quick second? All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Apologize. Had to take care of something real quick. What's up, Robert? Now I want you new people because I got a lot of new people now. Okay, I got a lot of new subscribers. I want you guys to, I'm here for you guys to answer questions. I'm not here to, don't fall for other debt slaves talking about, oh, he's a debt shamer. He's shaming people. No, I'm not. Okay, don't listen to them. That is not true. It has nothing to do. I'm here to help you own yourself. That's what I'm here for. I want you to be part of the SMD family. Talk to other SMD family members. You can talk to them in the private groups in YouTube if you join, right? You can talk to them there. That's where we can speak the language openly without dumb questions. Jobs, so extensive research on, yes, they do. And it's really, when I think about it, once they run your credit, they probably won't have to go as deep. Once you run somebody's credit, you and get a look at it, you will kind of have an idea of what type of person this person is, business wise, right? If they own themselves, likely they're not going to have. Well, of course, once you run the credit report, you're not going to see collections or debt or nothing, right? They're going to know that you know. That's the only thing I can. But if they look at your credit report and you have restitution, bad credit, collections, you're susceptible to embezzlement because you're desperate. That's what your credit report would say. And at that point, say like you had really really good experience in the field you're in. You got a college degree, blah blah blah, and you're going for some kind of accounting, something that handles the money of the business, and they run your credit report and they see you got tax problems, you got collections, people after you, you're behind on car payments. They're not going to hire you for that position because you're susceptible for embezzlement. Here you are with here you are with a college degree and you're wondering why you and with years of experience and you're wondering why you didn't get the job, even though you clearly understand that you're qualified for the job because of your credit report. That's why. The majority of people that you see with high credit scores are in deep, deep, deep debt. They're in deep debt. Like here's another. Let me give you guys. Okay, say like this. Say like uh say like a company hired me and they have a company of, let's say, 20 employees. Okay, I'm gonna just keep everything low. And they hired me. They're saying, "Hey, money is coming up missing, and we can't figure out who it is. And we're hiring you, LJ, to figure out who that person is." The first thing I'm gonna do is run all 20 people's personal credit report. That will hone me into the person that I believe that is doing it. I promise you. All I have to do is run all 20's credit reports. I'll know who to eliminate and who to keep. If it's more than one or two, by your personal credit report. That's where I'll start. Who's behind on payments? Who's not paying their bills? Who's not? Who's running from creditors? Okay, I'm getting closer. I'm getting closer to the person that's doing embezzlement, gambling debt, taxes owed. Okay, that's not even. Hey, Arlene, that's not even hard work. I'm just saying what's obvious. I'll just pull the credit reports and say, "Oh, okay, these people right here." All right, say like it's 20, and then I run the credit reports, and now I have five with bad credit or whatever. Right? I just focus in on that five, break that down, and I pretty much know who's doing it just by your credit reports. The ones you give them access to when they hire you. People make it. People think it's so complicated. Like for a person like me, listen, for a person like me that owns themselves and I was hired by a company, I would not do that to myself by doing embezzlement. I wouldn't do that because I own myself. Do you understand? So the likelihood of me doing that would never happen. Do you understand? They know that by looking at my credit report. Same goes with insurance companies. Like I said earlier, when they run my credit report and they see that I own myself, they understand the probability of me committing insurance fraud is very, very low. Very low. So my insurance rates are going to be different than yours. It's a disc profile for finance. What's up, Malika?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just a little bit under the weather, but hey, it's okay.
Okay, okay.
So if you hear me coughing a little bit, I'm gonna try to mute myself. I'm
Will
sorry.
do. Will do.
I hope everybody's having a great day.
Yeah. All day, every day is a great day for me. I tell you that.
Yeah, you debt free, bro.
Uh-huh. Exactly. Exactly.
But
Exactly.
I'm not like I came in like super late, so I missed
Mhm.
everything. So I mean, like I missed the majority of it. But I know, like when I put the thing, I was like, yeah, companies do extensive research on you now. It was
Mm.
like I said, they check the credit report. They go on Facebook to see,
Mhm.
how you live your life.
Mhm.
Because if they see you in debt, then they was like, okay, now what is she spending her money on? They gonna
Correct.
go on Facebook and see how you spending it on
And see it.
vacations,
Exactly.
clothes,
Mhm.
cars. They like, oh yeah, we got them today.
Yeah.
Or we gonna definitely get them. We gonna lowball them anyway because
Yes.
now we can get them.
And abuse them because they know
hmm
they're going to do whatever they tell them to do because they're in debt.
Exactly, because like at my job now, it is like something like our job is really simple, and it's nowhere else in the city where we can do what we do.
Mm.
Because we sometimes can have a lot of relaxed time if we finish, our work and stuff,
Mm.
and they know like this is the good life for a lot of us.
Mm.
So
Mm.
we'll have these meetings, and we'll have meetings about the same thing
Mm.
every month. And I'm like, why are we still having these meetings?
Wow.
But they'll keep talking, and then they'll just cuss you out if your A don't want to be here. I'll make sure
Ooh.
you can go. Yes.
Ooh.
So you
Mm.
go. Yes.
Yeah. I wouldn't be in an environment like that. No. Cussing at work?
Oh
Oh no, yeah. I wouldn't be able to talk. No, I quit.
yeah. Look, they already know what I be doing. I be listening to headphones because they know. I told her just my supervisor. I was like, I don't be listening to you.
Mm.
I say, that don't even pertain to me. I don't be
Wow.
listening to you.
Yeah.
I be playing games, listening to videos. But once something pertains to me, then I take out one earbud. That's when
Mhm.
I'm listening.
And so crazy. Luckily, as a computer engineer, I didn't work in environments where that happens, right? Where people are just cussing unnecessarily and stuff like that,
hmm
and blatant disrespect. I've never really been in environments like that. So when I hear it, it just
hmm
blows my mind because there's
Yeah.
no way I would accept, you have to be in debt to accept abuse at a workplace.
hmm Like I
Mm.
said, some people aren't because some people are single and stuff like that. But like I said, it's just the environment to where you won't be able to do certain things anywhere else. Or you saying, I'm trying, my car is jacked up, I'm trying to pay for my car, and they
Mhm.
already know that, so they know you're not gonna leave.
Correct. Or
they
when
are
they
they
or when they drive on get the job and then drive
hmm
on the employee parking lot with a brand new car. They know they're not going anywhere now.
I guess they're gonna be like, oh, they went and bought a car. That's more money. That's more time they can just spend in the office with
Sure
us,
will. And work
and
for
we can
free.
try to not. Yep, try not to pay you.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna do. When you answer, even responding to an email after hours, you are doing that for free.
LJ, I don't even know what that means because I don't read or answer work emails after work.
I heard that.
And we have group meet and they send messages through there. I'd be like, I didn't see that till later. I was asleep.
Yeah, that's what, you know, and the reason why I say it, because I was guilty of it. That's what I did in my career. I did that naturally without even thinking about it. I did it like today. That would never happen, but just to think about how much of the time of my life I gave away for free.
Like the only time you need to be calling me and I'm gonna answer is you tell me not to come to work. Then I'll answer.
Right, exactly.
Like office is closed. Oh, thank you very much. Y'all have a good day. Because I'm like, that's why I don't even want to promote in that department because they give you a cell phone. I was like, nah, you ain't gonna have that much access to me.
Right.
But it's a little bit of pay.
Yeah.
For like these 40 cents more. No.
If they run you, and you know, so crazy when I hear salaries like that, oh, I got a 50 cents raise. I'm like, 50 cents? After how long did it take? Oh, it took me 6 months. It's like, it took 6 months of your life to earn 50 cents more. That's a problem.
Yeah. And like I said, sometimes it takes people longer than that. Like luckily, like we get a 3% raise each year to, you know, combat inflation. I wonder what they're gonna do now, but it's just to the point. I'm like, you're not gonna have that much access to me,
right?
Unless you're gonna, you know, because what we have what we call steps in our jobs. So like if I'm at step 11 right now and you want to promote me, I'm like, you're gonna have to get all the way to step 20 because that's where I want to start.
Correct.
And that's the ending of it.
Yeah.
Unless I go up another promotion.
And you got to remember, they don't have people talking like that to them. The debt slave, when you're in debt, you're just happy to get anything. You don't want to say anything wrong because they might not give it to you or fire you or whatever, you know.
Even before I mortgaged my got this mortgage on this house, I interviewed for the next position was like a tech 2. And, you know, even through the interview, I'm just looking and I'm like, yeah. And I'm asking questions. And right after the interview, I said, they offer me that job. I'm not going to take it. I already see too many problems.
Okay.
They didn't offer it to me because they said they were scared of me.
Scared of you?
Yeah, they was like, well, because one of the ladies, she was like, well, come on, let me talk to you about your interview. You know, when you're in the interview, don't mention money. I said, for what? That's what I want. More money. And he said,
I get it now. I get why they're saying, you know what that means? That means they've never heard anybody like you. That's what that means.
She was like, kind of mention experience. I said, I don't care about the experience. I'm going to get that when I'm working.
Right.
And then they were like, they was afraid that you were going to come in and tell them what to do. I said, well, that's what they wanted. Yeah. I was going to be in charge of the department if the librarian wasn't there. I'm going to tell you what to do. I tell my supervisor now what to do because they didn't know what to do. They was
now I guarantee you, if the actual owner of the company heard a person like you, he would have hired you in a second. Right. But the people that he has doing it for them, you got to remember, those people those are debt slaves too. So they don't really know the difference between a person that knows and a person that doesn't. That's why they're afraid of you, because they're not used to hearing people talk like you in a interview.
Oh, they're not, because those people don't like confrontation. They just like things to be so low key. I'm like, I'll come in and change things, start telling people what to do, managing time. And I'm like, that's why I was like, so me coming in, I'm going to be in charge of 12 people under me, but I'm just a tech 2. I was like, that's a librarian's job. You need to be paying me at least a tech 3 job. You know?
You better believe it, if not more.
And I was just like, nah, I'm not going to take that job. I had already made in my mind, if they would have offered it to me, I wouldn't have took it. I was like, I wouldn't take it now. I'm like,
do they run your credit at your job?
I don't know if they run the credit, because I'm like, that's a totally different department. So I have never worked in that. But I know sometimes, like when they start to interview people, they try to look on their Facebook account and stuff like that to see what they doing.
Now I know every job doesn't do it, but a lot of jobs, if employers, I mean, it would save them a lot of time if every employer did it. Obviously, it's not free, but
Yeah.
that would save them a lot of time. I don't know if they even know this, but that would save them a lot of time of hiring who to hire and who not to hire
Yeah.
for what type of position. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like
For
I
some
said, they
positions,
look on that
it doesn't matter.
Instagram too or Twitter. I'll be like, look,
Right.
all my stuff private anyway, so you can't even look at it. I mean, you can see I'm on there, but you just can't look on it. But I don't really do anything.
Correct.
So I'll be like, I don't post anything unless somebody tags me. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Because
I
even
go
if
on
it's set
Facebook.
to private, I don't care. That private to who? You know, it's still not private. It's
Yeah.
private to Instagram owns it. So now it's not really private.
Private. I'm like, I just go on there to play games. That's all you gonna see me. And you don't even see me posting anything about the games that I play. So it's just like, because I'm like, I have a life. I come to work, I come home, I'm gonna do what I want to do. You know, when I go on vacation, because I told you I'm taking time off. That is it.
Yep.
Like, you don't get all this inside thing. I'm like, even though, you know, I have a house now that I'm trying to pay for, I don't really need to work extra.
Correct. They know
I just choose to.
They know that. They clearly say, why isn't Malika begging for overtime like everybody else?
And which is funny because I can get overtime. I'm one of the people in the office that can get overtime.
And don't even get it. Do people?
Because I have slowed
can they
down.
tell
I
if
was
you
like,
use it or not? Can your other coworkers tell if you're using overtime or not? Or you know what I'm saying?
oh yeah, like, because we have certain meetings and they like the same, like 5 or 6 people, and they name us all because sometimes when people don't want to work, I'll be like, I'll take it right quick. And they know that I can make overtime because I'm comped out. So they's like, she's gonna make the money. But then I've slowed down a lot. I'm like, I need to relax. I need to take care of myself. So I don't, so because right now I was like, for the last about 3 weeks, I really haven't been taking care of myself because I haven't been eating right. I haven't and I was like, I need to relax. I need to do this.
Health comes first. Exactly.
Exactly. And I'm like, so I backed off a lot of, overtime. So I said, whoever wanted, you can have it. I was like, I really don't need it.
I bet you they're walking around wondering, why doesn't she need overtime like we do?
Because I save my money up.
Right. No, I'm just saying, I'm sure they're thinking that. That's what they're thinking. That's what I'm sure they're thinking. Because they're not going to have the answer. They're either going to think you're rich. If you're not begging for overtime like them, they're probably going to think you're rich.
Look, they need to think that.
I don't want desk slaves to know nothing. They don't have no money. No, they don't need to see nothing or know nothing.
And they already know. I'm like, if I want to go somewhere, I'm going. I got the money. That's why my friends, they are like, if they want to go on vacation, let me call Malika. I know she gonna have her money today. Today. Right now, we are, me and a bunch of friends are scheduling to go to Cancun in November. I'm waiting on the consensus because I got my money now.
Exactly. You don't have to make payments for a vacation. Do you know people do that? Make payments for a vacation?
Yeah, I do.
That is bananas. If that's not a red flag, I don't know what else is. If you're making payments to go on vacation, that is a problem.
Look, dude, I'm telling you, years ago, I was supposed to go to Paris with a group of people. And it came to the point, they was like, okay, we're going to go through the travel agent for $2,600. We're going to get this. I said, oh, that's cool with me. I got my money. I'm ready. My passport is ready.
Okay.
Oh, man, look, one day the travel agent called and was like, y'all, they got this sale on the tickets. You get a round trip ticket to Paris, France for $650.
Wow. Okay.
I said, but the thing was, everybody had to have their money.
Okay.
So look, you won't believe it. My girl texts me, I'm at work. I'm working the front desk and it's busy because it's the afternoon. I done stopped everything that I did and was texting her back. I said, you have to have the money today. She said, yeah, and you have to give me your name and the birthday that's on your passport.
Okay.
Sure did send all that information right then and there.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm at the front desk, people seeing me. texting while everybody else working. I didn't care. So at the end of the day, I didn't hear anything. And I'm like, hey, did we get that deal? Because, I got my money. She was like, no, everybody didn't have their money. I was like,
Joe didn't.
I said, that's why I don't go nowhere with people who ain't got no money.
Correct.
I said, that ticket is about $1,500 itself.
Mm-hmm.
And you ain't got $650?
In order for you to enjoy, you're going to have to find new friends. That's what's going to have to happen. That's how it naturally happens. It just, it really does. I had to end a couple of friendships that I had for years. I had to end them because we were just bumping heads in this area. And they kept thinking that I was somehow better than them or acting as if I was. I was like, okay, that's not my intention. And if you keep bringing it up, I guess we're not friends. And then we just end the shit,
Yeah, I'm just like, So lo and behold, like the other people complained about everything. They was like, yeah, maybe we can stay at a 3-star hotel, like at the Marriott. I was like, I don't want to stay in no Marriott. I want to stay. I want to stay at the Waldorf.
Hell yeah.
Because that's what was on the itinerary. I was like, oh, we get to stay at the Waldorf in France. Yes. Wow. That's what I'm talking about. It was like, yeah, maybe we could stay at the Marriott. I was like, I don't want to stay there.
Nope. Because I don't have to. No, I can stay at the
I want to stay at the Waldorf.
Wow.
Dude, I'm telling you, they was like, and maybe we can, settle down on the trip. Because like I said, we had transportation to and from the airport. We had a day pass on the bus. We even had tickets to the
so they're trying to cut out all that shit to save money.
Dude, they had tickets to the Louvre. We were supposed to go there. We had tickets to the Eiffel Tower and tickets to the second floor of the Eiffel Tower. I was like, yeah, I'm ready now. That's what I'm talking about. Oh man, once they all complained, and lo and behold, to me, they were doing like these secret group texts that I wasn't a part of.
They removed you. Oh my God, they removed you from the group because you had your money.
I was talking to my friend. I was like, hey, because she even went to the travel agent and was like, do another itinerary for less money. And then she sent that out. And I was like, hey, did anybody say anything about the new itinerary? I'm giving them time to think. I said, that's the problem right there. You giving them time to think. Like, I'm ready to go now.
And then they see, when they removed you, we always call that being alienated, hence alien, because they just don't understand it. And ain't that crazy? They removed you because you had your money today.
I was like, and when she told me, she was like, yeah, because we've been texting. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't get any text. I was like, what y'all been talking about? And they've been trying to figure out how to, get all these lesser activities and stuff for lesser money, hotel rides. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to. I actually said I'm going to opt out of the trip.
Did you? Oh wow!
I didn't even go.
I would have did that. I definitely would have been my move too. I would have said I'm out.
I didn't go. So I mean, like it was supposed to be like 5 of us. At the end of it, 3 of them only went because the girl they kept making concessions for, she dropped out at the last minute. I said, y'all did all of that for her to drop out.
Oh yeah.
I said, now look, all that work, and I said,
you already have the signs in the beginning. If they could really hear, they would have known from the beginning and not wasted any time.
And like I said, that was on a payment plan. Ooh. I wasn't gonna be on a payment plan. That $2,600, they was just gonna pay so much a month. But like I said, I had my money. And
I should have told you that if they're making payments on a vacation, those are not the people you need to be going on vacation with.
I was just like, nah. But I told him, I said, hey, I'll pray for you that you have a safe trip. Let me know when you get there. And lo and behold, when they was telling me about the trip, they almost got arrested for arguing people on the bus. They almost about to get their passport taken.
You see what I'm saying? People with money don't do stuff like that.
Exactly. They didn't even go to the museum. Like the Louvre. See? They didn't even go. I was like, what?
You're gonna go into another country and not see the stuff that you want to see.
The
No,
stuff that's only there too. I was like,
correct.
there's not they don't have a Louvre here
That's
in
only
the United
there.
States.
Yes.
You know where they went
Mhm.
instead? They went to the Louis Vuitton store.
And they're complaining about the trip and gonna walk into the Louis Vuitton store.
I
Wow,
was like, wait,
that
I
makes
said,
listen. They made payments on the trip, and you're walking into the Louis Vuitton. No,
I,
absolutely not.
I said, you missed the museum to go to the Louis Vuitton store. You know they got a Louis Vuitton store in the United States, right? I was like, you can go online and get that. I said, but you can't go
Wow.
to the museum or you can't go to the Eiffel
No.
Tower anywhere else.
See, you're lucky that you backed out of that
I
trip
did.
because you wouldn't have been able to do the things that you wanted to do on that trip because they wouldn't be able to have done it with you. But then they're gonna walk in the Louis Vuitton store. That makes
Oh,
no sense.
LJ, they already knew. My best friend at the time, she was like, you would have left us. I said, you sure? I sure would have. I would have been at the
Mhm.
museum.
Well, yeah.
Because
Sorry,
I know how
sorry,
to
you
just
can't
go.
go.
Yeah, I was like, we got tickets. I'm going because I
Mm,
can't do this anywhere else, and this is a great experience for me to be out of the country
yes,
because
for
that would have
sure.
been my first time.
For sure. That's the only way. And think about it. When you do that, that's the only way you're gonna do it.
I
And
was
if
just
you have to go by yourself, you just have to go by
go by
yourself.
yourself. Because I
For
told them, I said,
real.
y'all would have got left. But then the whole part of it getting back home, they missed their connecting flight
Oh my God.
because people were like, I don't want to eat what's on the plane. I was like, y'all
Mm.
already knew they had so many problems.
They
They
missed
wanted
the
to go
flight
to the
because of themselves?
yes,
Oh hell no.
yes,
No.
yes.
Mm-mm.
They wanted to go look in the Mac store in the airport and go to the McDonald's. I
With
said,
no
y'all would have
money.
got left. I
With
said, y'all
no
would have got
money.
because Milika would have been on the plane
Hell
on her
yeah.
way back to the
You
States.
better believe that. You know what they would have said? Girl, I can't believe you left us. What? No, I can't believe you missed the plane.
Exactly, because if you know me, you get left real quick.
Wow.
They say that
Wow.
at work now. I'd be like, come on, y'all, we gotta go.
Hell
I go
yeah.
get in the car. They was like, I thought you had left me. I said, you already know it. That you
I
gonna
keep
get
telling
left.
people life is different when you know. Life is different when you know. Totally different.
You right. But I see Alonzo has come up. Hey, Alonzo.
What's up,
Good morning,
Alonzo?
Malika. Good morning, LJ.
What's good morning? Good morning.
Doing well. I had a little phone call, so I fell off the live a little while, about 40 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I was coming back because you had mentioned the insurance companies running your credit,
Mm-hmm.
and I know about that from the other side,
Mm-hmm.
and not only because you were mentioning the car insurance. And I don't know if you got to read the comment, but not only do they run your credit report for car insurance, but they put the owner of the car on your car insurance policy, which is the bank. And then
Oh,
even further,
on the insurance policy.
yeah, when
Wow.
you list,
Wow.
because whenever you get generally when they ask about full coverage, we
Yeah.
then ask who's the lien holder, either the
Gotcha.
financing company or who is leasing the car to you. Because
Yeah.
generally when we hear new car and people want full coverage, it's always a financed car. It's never fully paid off.
True.
Right. If I hear
Wow.
anything like today is 2022, if I hear 2016 or better, I know it's financed.
Mm.
Dang.
Right away, without even looking, you already know.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's I need insurance. What kind of car you got? A 2016, whatever. It could be a 2016 Nissan Versa. Guess what? It's financed.
Wow. And so their rates go accordingly.
Not only do their rates go accordingly, your rates are based on your credit. This is why when you live right next door in the same clean, beautiful neighborhood to your next door neighbor, you guys are the exact same height, weight, age, and everything, and pay the exact same amount for rent and have the exact same car, color, make, model, everything, and you still pay more, it's because your credit is bad and his credit is good.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they change your
Wow.
rate. But it even goes further. They check your credit for life insurance.
Oh, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
My goodness.
Because think about it. People don't really understand that, but they can see your credit report is going to tell them if you're a high probability of insurance fraud. Your credit report is going to tell them that. It's crazy that people just don't know that. They just have no clue of that.
Well, they just check your credit for everything now.
Yeah, well, they got a new way with underwriting. They used to base it off health, but now for a lot of the instant decisions, if you buy 250,000 or less, they base it off of your credit. So they're basing your premiums based on your credit history, and then they'll either approve or decline you a whole policy just based on your credit history. They don't even look at your health yet. They just say, let's see if this person pays his bills on time. No, nah, we're not gonna give him life insurance.
Wow.
Oh man.
They don't even go further to check your health and see if based on your health. They start with your credit, and then they go based on your credit. Okay, even if you have bad credit, usually they'll let it go, but it depends on your payment histories. And then they can increase your rate based on your payment history.
You know what's so funny, Alonzo, as I'm listening to you, it's like I know it's kind of weird to even say that, but I've never heard of people getting denied. I didn't know people get denied insurance policies. I did not know that.
Yes.
See, people don't really talk about that. Hey, you can go for this insurance policy, but you're not guaranteed to get it. You can get denied. I didn't know people could get denied insurance policies. That's new to me.
Yeah, and this is all insurance. You can get denied car insurance too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I knew that, but I didn't know insurance policies. I didn't know you can get denied. I thought if you just buy one and can make the payments, you get it. That's what I thought.
No, what they base it on is your health history. So they do an RX report and they check your prescriptions over the past 5 years.
Gotcha.
They then take a health history. So they're going to look at up to 6 years of your medical records from your doctor. Then they're going to look at your family health history. So they want to know if your father died, your mother died.
No, I mean, I knew that part. I can clearly see the purpose of that. But when it comes to just the finance part, I really...
Oh, you didn't know
I didn't know that they
yeah.
looked at that part, because I thought if you can make the payments, who cares about your, I don't know.
No, they actually will put you through something called suitability. That's because a lot of people have been getting caught up in scams with insurance.
Right.
So now they've created a new law called suitability. So when you apply, the advisor is supposed to, figure out your knowledge on investments and other things, because a lot of people do things like buy term and invest the difference. And so they're being sold a term policy, but they're not suitable to invest. The average investment is $10,000, which is $834 a month. Most people are getting told buy a term policy and pay $25 a month in a mutual fund by certain agents from a certain company I'm not going to mention because I don't want to throw dirt. But $25 on a mutual fund is nothing. That's like trying to bail out water from a sinking ship with a thimble. Right? When your average investment, your minimum investment to actually be an investment is $10,000, which is $834 a month if you do the math. But again, debt slaves are gonna be like, well, yeah, I'm making a difference. I'm putting $25 a month into this mutual fund, not even understanding that there's fees associated. So there's 2 and 20 fees. So I sell you this $25 a month mutual fund, and then I charge you 2% of your net worth annually and 20% of your capital gains. So when you gain $1,000, you owe me $200, plus you got to pay taxes.
Well, see, policies, and I clearly, this is how I look at it. The way you describe that policy is clearly bad, right? But it's legal, right? Right? And that wouldn't, a person who owns themselves, they would never in a million years buy a policy like that. It's no different than the creation of FHA mortgages, right? FHA mortgages are designed for people who don't know. That's the purpose of them, and it's legal. So I totally get it, totally understand it. It's just mind blowing. They just don't really talk about how many people get denied. I don't know if that's even a statistic to determine how many people actually get denied insurance policies.
I'm going to look into that now.
That would be very interesting to know. That would be very interesting to know.
That's actually a great idea. Well, thank you for the content idea. And Malika, too, because last time we was up here and you was talking about HSAs. So I'm going to do something a little in-depth on HSAs as well.
Okay, cool.
Like, yay.
All
I
right, I
didn't forget
appreciate you,
Malika.
Malika Alonzo. Thank you.
No
Thank you.
problem. I'll get off
No
so
problem,
somebody
guys.
else can come on.
All
Everybody
right.
come on and ask your questions. No question is ever dumb. Come
Yes,
on.
thank you,
The
Malika.
only
Don't be
Thank
dumb
you.
question is
ashamed.
the one you don't ask.
Exactly.
Exactly. Just come on up. We done all been there. You might as well just come on up.
Mm-hmm.
All
Thank you.
right,
Thank
guys.
you.
All right, I'm going
Thank you
back
both.
coming back into the comments.
Thank you for both of you guys coming up. Alonzo has Alonzo ever came up before? I'm not, but I thank you for coming up, Alonzo, explaining a lot of things because I just learned something new. People get denied insurance policy. I did not know that. I just thought if you had the money to make the payments, you got it. You know what I'm saying? But you can, I guess it makes sense. They run your credit and you're asking for insurance policy and they run your credit and see how you've been treating yourself. It's so easy to tell a person with a high probability of insurance fraud. It's easy. All they got to do is look at your personal credit report, see if you've been convicted of it, see if you have restitution for fraud and this and that. It's all in your credit report. If they see all that and you've done like car insurance fraud before, of course you're susceptible for fraud. Denied. What's up, Scott? What's up, Ken? Nick? It's crazy. You guys just have no idea what a credit report really does. The power of a credit report. Just like when we look at employers check, they're checking for business reasons. Look, this is what I want you guys to know, especially you younger people out there dating stuff. Employers check your credit for business reasons. It works the same way in personal relationships. I promise you. I promise you. It doesn't matter what a person looks like, how good their sex is, how sexy they are. All you got to do is run their credit report, and that will determine how you will be attracted to that person sexually and mentally, everything by the credit report. You guys got to do the same thing for yourself, the business of you. Even in relationships, if you run a person's credit report and you see they don't handle money well, you're not going to legally tie yourself to that person. You're not going to legally or biologically tie yourself to a debt slave. You won't do that. You won't tie yourself to a person that believes they're a homeowner with a mortgage, even if you tell them that they're not. You won't. Why would you legally tie yourself to a person that believes that? You won't do that. You won't procreate with a person like that. Aliens don't procreate with debt slaves. We don't do that. I'm going to say it one more time. Aliens, SMD, do not procreate or legally tie ourselves to debt slaves. That does not happen. That's not there's not enough love or sex in the world for us to ever do that, because it would never even get that far. You understand? It would never even get that far. If you're on a date with somebody and their phone rings and they say, I'm not answering that because it might be a bill collector, that's over. There's not another date. If you're on a date and that happens, there will be not another date. Another date will not happen because you just showed me you're a debt slave. Bill collectors are the hound dogs of the person that loaned you the money. And you're running. Like what? A debt slave. Debt slaves run from debtors. Pay them their money back and then they won't be coming after you. Those are signs. That's how you know if you're in a good or bad relationship. The credit report. Let me see your credit report. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna keep a picture of mine in my pocket. And each time I come into some kind of business, finance, something, go to some financial convention, I'm gonna go up to a desk and I'm gonna pull out my credit report, lay it on the desk, and say, "Have you ever seen something like that before?" They're not. They're gonna say, "What is that?" I'm gonna say, "That's my credit report. That's a picture of my credit report." They're going to see all zeros on it. They're going to like, what are all those zeros? You don't own anything. You guys think that it's just no. I'm gonna say no. I own myself. That's what that means. That means I own me. That means no other business owns me. See all those zeros? That means they don't own me. That's what those zeros mean. And once you own yourself, and you're going out into this dating world where you don't know who is who. You don't, hey, listen, let me tell you something. All you got to do is run the credit report. That's it. Doesn't matter who you're going to see. Just listen. You got to remember, once you own yourself, you listen differently. Debt slaves don't know what they're saying. All you got to do is listen. If they're talking about a new car they bought or a new house, you got to listen for mortgage or car payments. Most likely they'll have both. Call themselves the owner of both. They'll tell you that they have a mortgage payment and a car payment, and then on the flip side will tell you exactly that they own them both. They don't know that they're saying that. They don't know that they clearly don't know they don't own anything if they're making payments. They're making payments to the owner. Owners don't make payments. That's what makes them owners. See how the language is different? The language is totally different. Debt slaves don't know that language. They believe they own houses with mortgages. They believe they own the equity in a house that they didn't have the money to buy. They believe that. That's a different language. So all you got to do when you go out on a date and you listen to them and they say those things, that means they don't know. They're obviously a debt slave. Debt slaves don't realize that you guys don't realize that you are the currency. The house is nothing without you. If a house is there and the bank owns it and you're not in it, they're not making any money. It's just there. They make money when they get you in it. Because if I went to the house and bought the house in cash, the bank had nothing to do with that transaction. Nothing. So that means they make no money off of me. So they don't care what the house does because I own it. But if you get in it with a mortgage, mortgages buy people, not houses. That's how that works. They buy you. They don't buy the house. They buy you because the house is nothing without you in it. So now, and the whole time you think you're the homeowner. It's like, but the house, if you didn't believe that, and it doesn't even matter if I say it out loud because most of you guys can't even hear or understand a word I'm saying. If you didn't believe that, the housing market couldn't exist without you. How do I know that too? There's trillions of dollars in mortgage loan debt. That's how I know. What do you mean? That's obvious. The bank's not hiding anything. You guys think the banks are tricking you and doing all? No, nothing, none of that. That's part of the program. They're not doing anything. They're doing everything that their business is doing. Arlene says, my friend and I stopped speaking with each other for a long time after that trip. I was mad that she invited her other broke friends to come along. It just happens. It just happens. It just happens. Your friends disappear. Relationships are over. I'm telling you, put it this way. Once you own yourself, your dating life will be totally, totally different. Totally different. Because right now, you as young people, you guys don't know. You guys get most of your information from gossip channels. And what gossip channels are that talk about relationship, it's just a collective of debt slaves. You guys are talking about your own experience of relationships within the debt. Within the debt matrix, you guys share stories, share ideas, share opinions, but you guys don't understand what you're talking about is inside the debt matrix. Because when you get outside the debt matrix, you don't talk to things, you don't say things like that, and you sure don't associate with people in the debt matrix. You don't procreate, you don't marry, you don't legally bind yourself personally or business to a debt slave. You just don't do that. you will. I promise you. You like when you're in the court system, and I can just. And I'm telling you this from personal experience. When I was in the debt matrix, I remember. I always tell the story. I remember when I was in court doing some kind of child something rights and try to get my rights and child support, whatever. One of the many things, the reasons for being in there. I remember saying to myself as I was standing next to my lawyer, I was saying this to myself: I'm not supposed to be here. That's what I used to say to myself as I'm standing there, because you can't really talk. Your lawyer does all the talking. So pretty much everything her lawyers were speaking started turning into that, that Charlie Brown teacher voice. That's what it turned into. So I didn't really hear them talking anymore, because you're not supposed to talk. That's what you're paying the lawyer for, right? And I used to say to myself, I'm not supposed to be here. Even though I caused myself to be there, I would always say that to myself. So first, I had to get over blaming the woman for everything. Hey, she caused this, she made things like this and that and blah, blah, blah. First, I had to get over that and say, no, I put myself here. I'm in this position standing in front of this judge because of me. Once I started admitting that to myself, everything started to change. And once I got out of debt, I clearly see I caused myself to be there because I procreated with a debt slave. And I'm not calling her, I mean, I am calling her one, but I married her because I was a debt slave also. That's why I did that. Because when you own yourself, you will never marry a debt slave. You won't do that. You won't date a debt slave. You won't go on vacations with debt slaves. You just won't do that. They start to think that you think you're better and you have, when you're free, you have money. But a debt slave is going to think you're rich when you can pay for things in cash. If you can buy a car in cash, a debt slave is going to believe you're rich. If you buy a house in cash, a debt slave is most definitely going to believe you. They're going to think you are rich. When in fact you just own yourself. Period. Nothing more than that. As a matter of fact, you just know that there is no other way to buy a house other than cash. There is no other way. That's why you can't say things like that to debt slaves. You can't tell them that you pay for cars in cash. You cannot do that. Especially say like you got a brand new top of the line Escalade, a 2022 fully loaded Escalade, and you paid cash for it. You cannot tell a debt slave that you paid cash for. You know what you have to say? Oh, my payments are about $800 a month. That's what you got to say. You can't tell them you paid cash, because they're going to think instantly that you have money. Because in their minds, only people that have money could do that. That you can buy a $100,000 vehicle in cash. I know, listen, put it this way, just because they charge $100,000 for a fully loaded Escalade, I know it didn't cost them $100,000 to build that car. And you know how they're going to know that I know? When they run my credit, they're going to clearly see that I know that. And I'm here to buy a car like that in cash. So they're clearly going to know that I know. And they know that I'm not going to pay $100,000 for a truck. If I want a brand new vehicle like that, of course I know I'm going to be paying more, but I'm not going to be paying full price if I have cash. That's not going to happen. I probably end up paying the cost that they got it for, just so they could keep my business coming there for maintenance. Because if that happened, that's what would happen. I would only go there for maintenance and everything, because that we will have a mutual respect for each other, business, and I own myself. You're right, Ken. Absolutely genius. LJ, tell the person to upload that Credit Karma app and let them. Yeah, exactly. People won't do that. Excuse me. Would you say Enigma salesmen look at the look at me sideways every time I buy a car in cash. They sure do, because they make no money. If people pay cash for cars, the car industry wouldn't be as big as they are. And I don't care. Listen, I don't care how big they are. I don't care how monstrous I don't care. That's called business. Congratulations to them. I'm just here to tell you something. That's it. Nothing more than that. I'm just here to tell you. Exactly. He must be selling drugs. He bought a Cadillac, fully loaded Cadillac Escalade in cash. He's got to be selling drugs. No, that's what the movies have told you. The movies have told you the only people that can do that are rich white people and drug dealers. That's movies. Or Jewish people. That's the funny one. That's the every time they mention Jewish people, they mention money. Well, they're not special. They just know something that you don't know. They understand that capitalism is psychological. Maybe more Jewish people know that. That's not a special thing. You see what I'm saying? They just, hey, this is what we do in the Jewish community. We teach that capitalism is psychological. They probably don't even say it like that. They just probably say, hey, basically, don't finance shit. Okay, just buy it. You know, you'll hear a lawyer with a Jewish name, and you immediately think something. It's just crazy when it has nothing to do with what their religion or life is. It hasn't. Math doesn't care what race you are or what religion you believe in. Math doesn't care about that. Matter of fact, math doesn't even know about that. Math doesn't know about the color of your skin, your religion, if you're a man or a woman, if you live in another country. Math doesn't know borders. Math doesn't care about different countries and different areas of the world. Math is universal. No matter what language you speak it. Math doesn't know everybody speaks different languages. Math doesn't know that. If you're speaking math, math doesn't know if you're saying it in Chinese or not. It doesn't know. That's the lovely thing about psychological capitalism. Do you understand? Math is universal. And listen, nobody. Well, you can't. Nobody can break the laws of mathematics. People do, but they do it psychologically. But you can't. That's it. It's impossible to break the laws of mathematics. You cannot do that. But if you believe you can, that's a psychological problem because nobody can. You understand? It's it's just bananas, man. And again, I want SMD family members to understand this, okay? Debt slaves don't know we exist. They don't know we can hear what they can't. They don't know that. Okay? I want you guys to really grasp this of what I'm saying. They don't know, listen, they don't know that they're not homeowners with mortgages. Okay? They don't know that. And you're probably thinking, well, LJ, you're saying it out loud. That's because you think they can hear me, but they can't. Do you understand? They cannot hear what they can hear me physically. They know I'm speaking English, but they can't translate it. Do you understand that part? They can't. And why can they not translate it? Because it's against the laws of mathematics for them to translate it. Okay. That's against the laws of mathematics. And like I said, nobody can break the laws of mathematics, but if you choose to, you still can choose to, but you will have a psychological problem from that point on. Now, if you happen to get into a relationship like I have, that both parties understand capitalism is psychological, that relationship is going to flourish. And this is the wonderful thing about it. Once you own yourself, Once you own yourself, you're not going to be in a relationship with a person that doesn't own themselves. The only person you're going to be in a relationship with is a person that owns themselves, because they will understand what it means. And then when you find the rare person, the very rare person to have a relationship that owns themselves, you're going to know how rare that relationship is, because you know how hard that is going to be to find. And then when you have it, you're not going to destroy it by having an affair on that person. You're not going to do that. You're not going to have an affair on a person that owns themselves, because you know how rare that is. Each of you know. Infidelity problems won't happen. That will not happen. You understand? Jeffrey says, you definitely can't tell people you are paying cash for homes and cars. You will be you will be targeted, good and bad. Family will be asking, can they borrow money from you because you paid your house in cash? Instead of asking, Mikey, be careful about that, please. Sorry about that. I almost kicked my cable over. You definitely tell, okay. Yeah, you can't do that. For good and bad reasons. You just cannot do that. You cannot do that. Because they're going to instantly believe you're rich, instantly. Because that is, to buy a house in cash is not even, you guys understand, that's not even a dot on the radar for them to pay off to buy a house in cash. Yet they are screaming in videos every day how much equity they have in a house that they don't own. They don't know that they don't own. They don't know equity is just a word that the banks made up in their business plans. They don't know that. They don't know that's impossible. You can't do that. But that's just business. It's nothing personal. I don't care how the banks do it. I don't care how they achieve or make their money. I don't care. I'm just telling you something. When the banks run my credit report, they're going to clearly see that I own myself and understand that capitalism is psychological by the proof of my credit report. Something that they know that cannot be faked, that can't be faked. When's the last time you heard a security breach where somebody broke into the credit report place and started scrambling up people's debt and credit scores? You've never heard that happen before, right? Because it will never happen, ever. That will never happen. And if you ever happen to be the smarty pants that said, hey, I'm going to do it, and you even came close to it, you will now be owned for the rest of your life. Even if you, especially if you achieve, say like you're a hacker and you actually achieved breaking in there and scrambling up people's debt and changing numbers, and guess what? You're going to be owned for the rest of your life when they catch you. You are now owned. They're going to say, prison for the rest of your life, or work for us for the rest of your life. Which one? Your choice. Guess what you're going to choose? You're going to choose to work for them for the rest of your life. Caused by who? Yourself. By not taking the time to understand how it works. Caused by you. You just created your future of being owned for the rest of your life. You created that. Because they already said, hey, if you do this, this could happen, and you do it anyway. No different than like PPP fraud. They say, hey, this is a federal crime if you do that. They tell you right up front what's going to happen. And right when you press the enter button to submit the fraudulent PPP fraud claim, they tell you that if something pops up in your face and say, hey, they tell you again. They say, if this is not truthful, you could possibly lose some of the time in your life. And then you accept it and breeze past it for the money. Now you're in trouble. It doesn't even matter if you actually get the physical money, which doesn't exist in the first place. As soon as you press enter, you're owned. Do you understand? As soon as you press enter, you are now owned. Caused by who? Yourself. That's why they make it so easy. Here's people making up businesses, getting millions of dollars. Why do you think that's easy? Because you just sold yourself. That's why. You think you can just walk into a bank and make up a story and get $1 million from a bank? Hell no. You probably wouldn't even get through the front doors. But you can easily go over here and just write out a couple pieces of paper and get millions of dollars. That, as soon as you press enter, you're owned. Let you spend it all. So like you got $1 million and they didn't catch you for like a year or two and you spent all the money. Now that money turns into restitution plus penalties and fees. Amount of money that you have never earned in your life, now you owe. That means you are owned for the rest of your life. They're not going to forgive the $1 million. You owe it, plus penalties and fees, lose some of the time in your life for the rest of your life, because you'll never, ever, as a felon, federally, you will never be able to earn that much money at a job. Never. AKA owned for the rest of your life now. For what? Some fake money. Not a big deal, because they tell you that before you press enter on the keyboard for fraudulent PPP fraud. They tell you right from the beginning, if you do this, this could happen. That's what they said. And if you press enter, not only are you putting money above time, once you press enter, you are giving up the right to ever be free. That's what you're doing. Boom, enter. Do PPP fraud, steal the money, and then go buy exotic cars. That makes no sense at all. What are you thinking? You really think that car is yours with stolen money? Come on, man. You can't do that. What you don't know is that you're owned for the rest of your life. Check this out, especially if you guys doing that PPP fraud in your 20s, guess what you're giving up? You guys have no idea what you're doing in your 20s. You're giving up your possibility to ever own yourself now. You are stamped for the rest of your life. Say it like this. So in your 20s, you don't really know, because you see the money and that's what you think you're supposed to do. You get caught with PPP fraud, now you're a felon. Stealing federal money. Now you're stamped for the rest of your life. So now when you turn 30 and 40 and you and your friends want to go to Paris or Canada or Australia, guess what? You can't go. Because they're going to run you get pulled to a side. They're going to run your criminal history and found out you defrauded the federal government in your own motherfucking country. You think they're going to let you over there? No, they're not. They don't want that. They got their own problems in their own country. You think they're going to let another problem that doesn't exist outside their country into their country? They're dealing with their own shit. You're going to be denied. So now you can't even visit other parts of the world because of what you did in your 20s. You don't think it's a big deal. Oh, I just got a year and got a 2 years of probation and just the restitution of pay. That's it? No, it's more than that. Way more than that. You'll know later in life when you can't do shit, can't go nowhere, can't get a decent job because of a stupid mistake that you did in your 20s. All your friends are going to Jamaica or going to some place, another country, and they're all going. They got their passports and ready to go, but you can't go because you're a felon. It's going to kick in later, especially you guys in your 20s. It's going to kick in later. You'll see. You'll see. You get with somebody, find a good relationship. They don't have no record, but you do. You've been living your life right since say it like this. You're not even continuing to live in a life of crime. You are living your life right from now on, but you still can't go nowhere. They're not going to let you in their country. All for fake pieces of paper, worthless pieces of paper, whatever. Hey, whatever. when I was in my 20s, I wish to God somebody would have told it to me like that. Wait a minute. When you're in your 20s, this is what you don't know. You are brand new to earth, brand new. You look at people that are older than you as old people. No, we've been here before you. What are you talking about? You're new. I was here 30, 40 years before you. You are new, not me. I've been here. But then the young people think they know more than the old people because the old people are not hip to the new technology or whatever. We don't care what you debt slaves do. You think I care that I'm not hip to what keeps you guys busy, keeping your mind off the present moment? I don't care what you guys do, nor do I want to know. I don't want to know because it means nothing. Anything to keep you guys busy from focusing on the present moment, it's available to you because that's what you guys do. People that understand capitalism is psychological. We know the present moment is the only moment that will ever matter until we're dead. We never forget our time here is limited. Every human dies. Don't you see graveyards everywhere? When you drive through down the street or whatever, and you see a big graveyard, all you got to do is remember those people were once alive. Those people were once here before you. They were here before you. That's where you're going to be. Do you understand? So that means our time here is limited. So are you going to be here and own yourself, or are you going to be here and be owned? That's totally up to you. If you have ever given up on paying, if you've really made up in your mind that you're never going to pay off your student loan debt, guess what? You're going to be owned until you're dead. That's what you're really saying. If you think you're not going to pay, if you truly believe you're not going to pay them off, and if you've entered your student loan debt into some kind of student loan forgiveness program or something, that's what you're saying. I've given up on myself. Because I don't believe I can pay off a student loan debt in 10 to 25 years of my life. I don't believe it. That's what you're saying when you sign up for those programs. You guys just don't know you're saying that. What's really crazy, it doesn't cost $68,000 to build a Corvette. Nope. So now you've overpaid triple for a sports car. The game gets you coming and go. It does. And it's just business. It's nothing personal. When they say, hey, the new Bentley is $500,000, to who? Only to people. I don't care if it's a Bentley, and they say, oh, it's $450,000. To who? To people that believe it costs $450,000 to build a Bentley. That's who that means to. I know they didn't build that car for $450,000. No different than I think that it cost $40,000 or $8,000 or $10,000 to make a purse. I know it didn't cost that. There's no way it cost $10,000 to make a Gucci or Fendi bag. It didn't. That price only means something to the people that believe that. Do you believe debt slaves will put the country in so-called recession, or is that just debt slave? That's just debt slave talk. Recessions, the value of money going up and down. The Feds say they're going to drop the interest rate here, cause this to do that. That's all debts. That information is for debt slaves because they're the currency. So they're going to flow to whatever they're saying. So if they say a recession, the debt slaves are going to flow into it because they are the currency. So whatever they're doing when they say that, they're just doing something. Okay, that's all. It's just they're shifting something, they're moving something. I don't know. It really doesn't matter because no currency exists for debt slaves at all. And if no currency exists for debt slaves, there cannot be a recession because they insinuate money problems and all this other stuff. Of course. So it doesn't mean anything because they're the currency. Exactly, Andre. Whatever they say it's going to happen, it's for them. It's not for us. They want them to do something. Like, this is the easiest example I always use. If they increase gas prices, I guess they want you to buy more electric cars. I guess that's what this is my opinion. Okay. Because that kind of movement is well above my pay grade. You know, I don't know how that works. Okay. I'm not saying that I do. I'm just saying, from my opinion, from my outlook, I think if they raise gas prices, they want you guys to finance more electric cars, because the only way you guys can buy cars is finance them. Because you guys are so deep in debt, upside down in cars, the only way you're going to do is be able to. So maybe they want you guys to finance more electric cars. Maybe they want you to, because most of you guys are upside down in your cars, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to go finance an electric car, roll the negative equity from the gas car, rolling it into the electric car, and now you guys believe you guys own an electric car, saving money on gas, even though you're like double that upside down in the car. Gap, and then you guys, and people, like, when you have negative equity, gap insurance is a requirement for you, because that's what gap insurance is for. It fills the gap from the value of the car to how much you owe on the car. People like me pay for cars in cash, so there cannot be a gap, because there's no gap there, because I bought it. And I get to choose if I want full coverage insurance on it or not. I get to choose because it's mine. But they create gap insurance for debt slaves that are way upside down in their car. They're like, hey, you know what? And all the dealerships tell you guys this, because they know you guys are upside down. That's why they offer you gap insurance. And then they say, this is all they have to say. Hey, you know what? You better get this, because if you get in a car accident and the car is totaled, you know, if you owe more on the car, you're going to have to come out of pocket with that. Of course, you have no money. You got gap insurance. Of course, you have no money. So you're going to pay for not only your regular insurance, you're going to have to buy gap insurance on top of that. Gap insurance is for debt slaves. That's who gap insurance is for you, debt slaves that are upside down in cars. That's a business. Okay, I don't care what they do. I don't care about gap insurance. I don't care what they charge you for it. Who cares? I don't care. I'm just telling you something that's a business. It's legal. Long as what they're doing is not illegal, that I'm cool with it. I don't care. If they listen, if you had negative equity in a car that you wanted to trade in, and they denied everybody who had negative equity in their cars, if the banks denied them, the car loan business would go out of business. That would be a large chunk of their profits if they did that. Because for the life of me, when I was in the debt matrix, I didn't know why they allowed negative equity to be rolled into a new car loan. I didn't know. That just didn't make any sense to me. Dang, doesn't that make the car less value for you? Of course. But if they didn't, the car loan industry would take a hit, a big one. That would be very bad. So basically, recession means gold for, yes. I mean, recession, you could just, okay, when you see a recession, don't pay attention to what you're seeing on TV. All you got to do is pay attention to the debt slaves. That's all you got to do. Just look at them. And when you hear something like that on TV, this is what you got to say. And you only can do this if you own yourself, okay? So don't even worry about what I'm saying. When you hear something like recession, you got to say to yourself, what are debt slaves going to do when they hear that word recession? What are they going to do? And what I do is remember when I was a debt slave, and I think to myself, what would I do as a what would have I done as a debt slave if I heard that word recession? What have I done? And that's what I do. I just think, okay, that's what debt slaves would do. When this happens, when insurance rates get hiked and lowered, what will debt slaves do? They're going to do this. Okay, cool, whatever. I don't care. Like there's a movie, check this out. Like there's a movie about I think it's called The Big Short, okay? And in this movie, this is so funny. In this movie, they make it look like this smart, brilliant, off the wall. Of course, they make him look nerdy, make him look awkward, wearing sandals. His eye looks this way, and then they make it look like you would have to be a weirdo to figure out what was going to happen in 2008 with the housing market crash, right? Now, when you understand capitalism psychological, that 2000, put it this way, if I knew today that capitalism was psychological back in 2008, I would have seen that coming a mile away. I already know that was coming. That's clear. That wasn't a shock. You know how they make them write numbers on the board and try to do all these calculations. Hey, this is gonna, I want to short that because this is gonna. It's not like that. All you got to do is open up the calculator and say, hey, how many people believe this? This is all you got to do. What is the amount of people that believe they own homes with mortgages? That's all you got to do, and then run that number. Hey, Google, how much mortgage loan debt is there? And then you say trillions and trillions of dollars. Okay, you know what's coming. That movie, The Big Short, I watched that movie. I'm like, you're making it look like it was very, very difficult, very difficult to see that coming and when it was coming. That's not hard to see. Right now, they're like, oh man, a housing market crash is coming. You guys better be ready. this is what you got to think, okay? You guys don't see this because you're dead, right? A housing market crash is coming, and this and that, and blah, 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 it's coming. It's about to come. Then you got to stop and say, why are they building so many houses then? If a housing market crash is coming, why are they building so many houses? Listen, you guys can't buy houses because you have no money and you are the currency. So the bank knows when they build those houses, they plan on putting people in them. You think the banks are just going to throw away money and build houses that nobody are going to live in? That's not going to happen. They're building them for a reason. So when you look at that, why is the housing market crash if they're building so many? Because it's not coming. All the houses that are being built, they mean nothing without you guys in them. Okay? The banks make money. They don't throw away money. You think they would build all these houses to remain empty? Is that what you think? You think all this gentrification, what you got, here's another word, gentrification has happened because the banks, that's the bank's money. You think they're doing that just to be throwing away money? No, they're not. Does it look like a housing crash is coming with all the houses being built? That wouldn't make sense. You think all these houses, the bank's saying like this, hey man, we're gonna build all these houses just in case they can be filled. No. Sure was. Yes, they were. 100%. In 2005, I was ringing the bell. They laughed. I laughed last. Exactly. They're just laughing. People just, ha ha, that's funny. No, that's obvious. All you got to do is refer to this video at the title. Why do you think employers do that? Why do you think they check credit reports? Because they know it tells everything. Are you guys that are following so-called financial gurus, real estate moguls that think they have millions of dollars? They can tell you anything. They can tell you anything. All you got to do is ask to see their personal credit report. It will tell the truth if they are who they say they are. You got to say to yourself, if LJ can show his personal credit report, how come everybody else can't? They can. They just choose not to. That's all you guys got to do to really understand who's telling you the truth or not. That's all you ask to see Their personal credit report. It will tell you if they're telling the truth about themselves and what they own and what they have and where they go and what they've done. Ask to see their personal credit report. See if they own themselves. If they don't own themselves, that's a facade. That equals that they have a psychological problem. That's what that equals. If it's not mathematically true, everything in your life is psychological for you. Everything. Your house, cars, insurance policies, your retirement plan, all that. That's all psychological. None of it exists for you. Your investments in your stock market, blah blah blah, shares that you got in Apple. All of that's an illusion. That's a psychological problem. No different. The stock market is no different than Bitcoin. Okay. I bet you they modeled Bitcoin after the stock market. You know why? Because you guys, same thing. You guys can't buy full shares of stock. You think you can go buy some of that Hathaway stock? Can you go buy one of those? Can you go buy a full one of those shares with cash? Can you do it? No. So they have to break it up in pieces so you guys can invest. Because you guys can't buy whole stocks. You guys have no money. No different than Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. If they didn't break it up, you guys couldn't play. Do you understand? That's why it's modeled after each other. One's legal, one's not. One's regulated and one is not. That's the only difference between the two. Cryptocurrency is the wild, wild west. Unregulated, take money, steal money, transfer, don't pay this taxes. You guys are the wild, wild west over there. The stock market is just regulated. That's all. That's the only difference. If they didn't break it up in pieces, you guys couldn't play. It's no different. I get it. But what happens when the debt slaves can no longer afford their payments? They will always be able to afford their payments. Something will change. Because you got to remember, psychological capitalism cannot exist without debt slaves. It cannot. It only can go so far, okay? Because it cannot exist without you, debt slaves, you. Hey, we're running out of food, this and that. Well, if we truly ran out of food, that means everybody dies. That means no economy can exist. The economy cannot exist without people. Things cannot be made without you guys. Things cannot be delivered without you. Robots can only do so much. It cannot exist without people because humans are the only ones that consume unnecessarily. Humans, us. It's us. It cannot exist without us. So of course, you guys, it only can go so far. That's it. It's got to stop. Hey, okay, wow, food's back now. Hey, everybody can eat. Of course there is. Of course, it cannot work without you. Do you understand? The majority of you guys must be in debt for it to work. Buildings can't get built. Roads can't get fixed. Mail can't get delivered without you. Currency, you are the currency. Okay, that's the only thing you got to really understand. Without you, none of it works. If housing gets too high and nobody can afford it, that means no more houses are getting bought. That would hurt the economy. Do you understand? That would hurt it. So it's on. Maybe they make it high because they want you guys to get out of an area or go do something over here. Who knows why they do it? But it only can go so far because it cannot work without you. Outrageous TV says, you made a good point, LJ. Why would they build these houses if nobody's living in them? I think the difference between the recession in 2004 and 2008 and today, there's a lot of jobs. The difference is that people must understand the true difference is between 2008 and today, we have a new economy. That's the real deal. You guys can't see that because you guys don't understand that capitalism. I'm not talking directly to Outrage TV, but I'm just saying in general that you guys don't understand the economy in 2008 versus 2022 is totally different. The economy is totally different. So, in my opinion, the world, in order to change the economy the way it is today, the world had to stop, reprogram it to the new economy, and then start it back up. That's what it is. Like, pretend like the economy needed a brand new engine. You can't swap an engine in a car while it's running. Okay. Hey, we're going to rebuild this engine. Should we turn it off first? No, we're going to do it while it's hot. Okay, you can't do that, right? So you have to stop the engine, pull it out to put in a brand new engine. So first, what you got to do, you got to take all of the oil out of the engine, which are debt slaves. So they stop it, remove all the old oil, okay, get you guys out of it, get you guys out of the economy, put in a new engine, put it in. They can't start it up until they put the new oil into it, which is brand new debt slaves, new houses, okay, 40-year mortgages. Okay, you guys are the new oil. Believing you own stuff with no money, believing in cryptocurrency and all this other stuff, whatever. I don't care what they make you guys believe in, but that's why they're building all the new houses. That's the new oil. The new economy is working from home. Have you noticed that they're building houses around, they're building like grocery stores within neighborhoods? Have you noticed that? Because that's where they know you're going to be now. In the new economy, the majority of you guys are going to be from home and working for yourselves, delivering shit. Mark my words, there's going to be 24-hour delivery. Yes, there is. 24 hours. No matter the time, date, you're going to get a delivery. You watch. And if the stores are within the neighborhoods, the people are going to trust it more, and then that's how it's going to work. That's why they're building all those houses, because you guys are going to be in them 24 hours a day. And you're going to be happy about it, because you're going to be happy that you're not in traffic anymore going to a job, but you don't realize those days are over. That's the old economy. We're in the new one now. Okay? We're in the new one. So when you hear people when you hear them all on the internet right now, comparing 2008 with today, one has nothing to do with the other. That's the old 2008 was the old economy. This is the new one. You can't compare the two. They have nothing to do with each other. So when you hear that, I'm telling you, I don't care what YouTube channel you hear it on, when you hear some kind of financial analyst start comparing 2008 to today, you better click it off, because they're making an incorrect a comparison, because it has nothing. Was there a virus back in 2008? Hey, listen, this is all you got to do. When they do that comparison, you say, was there a worldwide pandemic in 2008? No? Then why are you comparing it to that? The weapons sent to Ukraine are financed. Resistance is futile. You better believe that. War is profit. Shout out to Chocolate Nomad for $4.99 super chat. I might need this back in a few months. LJ, health is the only currency we should be focused on. Correct. Have a good weekend. You are welcome. That is true. Because you have to live to enjoy life. Your body, listen, your body, and this is how you got to look. This is the only way I look at it. In order for me to walk around on earth, I need this body that I'm in today. That's the only way I can do it. There is no other way to do it. To walk around in this earth and do everything I want to do comfortably, I need this body to do it. And I'm not going to let food destroy that. Because I can't stop eating a certain type of food. I'm not going to let food prevent me from walking around on earth going anywhere I want to go. I'm not going to do that. That's not going to be by my own hands. It starts with owning yourself. That's what it starts with. I don't want you comparing SMD to personal finance. I don't want you guys doing that. SMD is here to help you own you. To help you own yourself, what's natural is going to happen. You're going to be different at work. You'll see. Once you own yourself, your work life is going to be totally different. And then you're going to gradually figure out how to open a successful business and work for yourself. And then that's when it really takes off. That's when you really own your freedom. Because regardless of, I'm not talking negative about a job. I'm just sharing something with you. You cannot own yourself with having a job. You can't. You cannot own yourself giving 40 plus hours a week to an employer. That's impossible mathematically. You can't do that. So I'm going to leave that up to you. If you ever want to know what that feels like or whatever, that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to figure out how to create a successful business. Not just any business, something that fulfills you. Like this one, I understand, and it's not to be bragging. I understand that there's no other channel like SMD. None, zero on any platform, on any social media platform. There is no other channel like this one. None. With that being said, that means it's only a matter of time before the world knows SMD. It's only a matter of time. I'm just telling you guys right now, today. All you got to do is just look. Is there any other channel like SMD? Nope, sure ain't. Of course I'm going to be known around the world, of course. Because there's nobody like this. There's nobody like me or like this channel. It's just a matter of time, okay? We can get out of debt, but excuse me, but we still have to have somewhere to live. We have to eat, so still we'll have to work and live. I guess the key is to own your own business, like you said. You have to own, of course. I mean, even when people say that, oh man, you still got to eat and live. Stop. This is what I want people, when you catch yourself saying that, I want you to say this to yourself. Why am I saying obvious things? Of course I have to eat. Of course I have to live somewhere. Of course. Why you got to say to yourself, why am I saying that? Why am I saying the obvious? If I don't eat, I will die. Catch yourself saying that stuff like that so you can remove that from your mind so you can go start being successful. Sure do. You have to, man. Eventually aliens realize they have to get to the point for not working for money. Exactly. You have to get to that point. What if you are debt free? Is a job still? No, a job, when you're debt free, a job is a tool. Because think about it. If you don't have your own business, how else are you going to make money? You have to have a job. But when you're debt free and have a job, you understand that it's a tool. You understand when you go to this job, 99% of the people that you work with are there because they have to be there. You are there because you're choosing to be there. There's a big difference. And with most of the jobs today running your credit report, the employer will know immediately who those people are. They will immediately know who is there because they're choosing to be there, and they'll know who's there because they have to be there, and they will treat them accordingly. It's just business. It's nothing personal. Nothing personal. This is why when you're at work, employers always say this to you. Hey, don't be discussing salaries with each other. Don't be. Is discussing salary with each other, is that against the law or something? Because if you guys did, then you might say, hey, why is this person making $50,000 more a year than I am doing the same job? You guys would know. You guys would be like, hey, that's unfair. Maybe that person owns themselves and walked into the company knowing what they know, with the skills that they know, and knowing that they're here because they're choosing to be here. And they said, I'm not working for anything less than this. And then they're going to pay them. That's why they don't want you debt slaves discussing salaries amongst each other, because you guys would identify the person who understands. When you're in debt, you're going to accept anything that they offer you because you're in debt. You got to hurry. You got to hurry up and pay your rent or your car note or something before you lose it. Whatever, it doesn't really matter what it is, but you guys need that, so they'll give you just enough to cover that. Pay you and get 200% out of you. Especially when you guys are at work begging, like literally begging and fighting for overtime, begging for it. Mad if somebody else gets it. You know who begs to stay at work longer? Debt slaves do that. And then brag about it. How you guys do it all the time on your social media. Brag about how many hours you're spending a week at a job. Man, I put in them 80 hours this week. What? 80 hours? And you're married? You won't be married for long. You guys don't even know that. If you're married and you work in 60 to 80 hours a week, you're not going to be married that long. I promise you that. You're not. Imagine a couple that's in so much debt they each work overtime all the time. You won't be married that long. I promise you. That relationship's not going to last. You guys don't even see each other. Can you imagine not seeing who you're married to? Let's just say 60. Imagine not seeing the person you're married to for 60. You might as well say it's more than that, because you got to add in traffic time, okay? To and from work every day. So let's just say 70 hours a week. 70 hours a week. Can you imagine not seeing the person you're married to for 70 hours a week for 20 years? Because in that time, you also got to sleep. You got to sleep too. You won't be married long. And then you got to put in, if you have kids, you got to put in the time to help them with homework, take them to activities, after school activities. You can't do that working 70 hours a week. You can't. Assets should pay your bills, not your labor. Remember, people are the assets. Exactly, Andre. Exactly. Like, say, like you create a successful business, okay? And of course, having a business, there are taxes associated with that business, okay? But what you don't understand, when you create a successful business, you don't pay your taxes. Your customer pays your business taxes for you. That's how it works. When you understand how it works, you're not really paying taxes in business. You're passing taxes to their owners, which is the IRS. So say like this. Say like you created a successful business and you sold a product for $1,000. The IRS says, hey, we need you to add 10% to what they let you choose. Listen, they let you choose the price of which you want to sell your product. They let you choose it. They let you say, you can charge whatever you want for the product that you create, and you get to do that, right? And so like you created a product and you said, I'm going to charge $1,000 for this product. The IRS comes in and says, hey, when you do that, you add a 10% tax to that, to your product, and then you pass that to us because it's not yours, it's ours. We're just adding it to it. You're not paying it, they're paying it. So when the debt slave comes in, there's three people that are going to get paid: the bank and you and the IRS. So they come in, the debt slave comes in, pulls out the credit card and charges $1,000 plus tax. Let's say it's $100. They charge $1,100 on their credit card. So they're financing your product and they're financing the taxes. When you get that money, the IRS says, hey, give us that $100 that you made off of that $1,000 sale. And then you just give it to them. It's not yours. You didn't pay for it. You just pass it. Give it to them. The bank finances the whole thing. They finance not only the product of yours, they finance the $100 worth of taxes associated with your product, and then they wrap it up and put a bow on top of it of an interest rate. So now they're financing $1,100. You see what I'm saying? That's how it works. So you're passing taxes. You're not, when you put it on paper, of course it looks like you're paying them. Yeah, but you're just giving them what is not yours. then the taxes are transferred to the IRS, to the aliens. Exactly. That's how it works. Yeah, Nick. Okay, I'm glad I better explain that, because I can tell, Nick. I could tell why you were saying, "Man, I just gave the IRS $7,500." Well, you really didn't give them anything. You just passed it to them, right? You're just like, "Hey, okay." Because think about it. Think about it this way: some debt slaves in business really believe that they can. I mean, you got the freedom to charge whatever you want for your product. That is total freedom. And then they say, okay, this is a tax that we're going to put on top of the product that you decided that you wanted money for. And you think, and some people don't want to pay their tax, don't want to pass that money. So you believe not only you get to keep your money of your product, that whatever you decide to, you think you get to keep their money too? It's like, why would you think that? It's not even yours. So you think you get to keep that too? You get to keep on top of what your product. You get to keep their money too. No, you can't do that. You cannot do that. What's up, Amina? Hey, LJ, everyone. I'm glad you got on. The money is the IRS game anyway. They designed it. We are just pieces playing the game. The money is the IRS game. Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, I guess. It's like, okay, when I think about the IRS, right? Now there's very, very, very few people that understand that capitalism is psychological. Okay, believe it or not, I'm sure there are IRS agents that are in personal debt. Now, and this is just my opinion, okay? I guarantee you there's a department in the IRS for the very few people that understand capitalism is psychological. There has to be a department in there. It has to be. It can't be every IRS agent, because that would be, there's just not enough people that understand capitalism is psychological. You couldn't have a full staff of IRS agents that own themselves, because they just don't know. But I bet you there's a small department that there has to be that does know. And they probably put these IRS agents on the biggest cases, like for fraud, for tax fraud, because when you understand capitalism is psychological, it's not very hard to see people that commit tax fraud. Okay, it's not difficult at all. It's not. Okay, especially like when you're committing tax fraud and you're in debt. Okay, I'm gonna try my best to describe it. If you are committing tax fraud and you're in debt, you don't know what you're doing. Okay, you don't know, because by you even committing tax fraud, that automatically says that you don't understand how taxes work. Because you're breaking the rules, because only people that you just obviously because on top of that, you says, hey, if you do tax evasion, you can lose the time in your life as if you murdered somebody. Do you understand? Now, debt slaves, you guys always say things like, oh my God, a person commits tax evasion, gets the same time as a murderer. Now, you got to always pause on things that don't make any sense. You got to, wait, that's weird. Tax evasion, you can get the same time as somebody that murdered another human being. That's an indicator that says This part in the game is very, this is a crucial piece of the game. That's what that means. That's all it means. It means there's something you need to know that you obviously don't know, and you're going to get penalized for it because you don't know. It's a crucial piece. Okay, LJ, I truly understand what you're saying loud and clear. The bigger question is, how can I become a debt slave catcher? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. What's a debt slave catcher? You mean catching debt slaves doing fraud? Is that what you mean? I don't know what you mean. But back to the IRS thing, I bet for the biggest cases, they put the people in that are in the IRS that understand that capitalism is psychological. Once you understand that, you will be the best IRS agent in the field. You'll be one of the best. Okay. And you will probably get the biggest cases because you will know exactly what to do to determine if somebody's doing tax evasion easily. And listen, on top of that, with unlimited powers, they have unlimited powers. They can go into any bank account, look at anything you do, any trans. That's what the powers they have. Now imagine having that power, and you know that psychological capitalism, you know capitalism is psychological. Can you imagine? It wouldn't be very difficult at all. It wouldn't at all. Because you do tax evasion for what? Money. And if you're doing it for money, risking losing the time in your life, you're a debt slave, obviously, because you're putting money above time. If whatever you're doing, especially tax evasion, you're going to lose, and you get caught, you're going to lose some of the time in your life. That means money is number one, time is number two on your list. You got it wrong. Uh-oh. I always tell people this. If you're IRS agent, if you're a professional tax person, if you're a professional accountant, you're a professional, anything to do with money, if you understand that capitalism is psychological, you will be the best in your field. And the majority of people around you will, in the same field, will not have an idea of how you're doing it. All because you own yourself. All because I get it. I totally get it. Why the IRS, I understand why IRS agents exist. I understand why the penalty is so severe for tax evasion. I get it. Totally understand. Understood. Understood. You know what I say? I won't be doing any of that. Understood. No, sir. Yeah, this is where my money, these are my bank accounts. That's how much I made. I put this over here. I did that. I did this and that. Hey, here's all the information. Here you go. And when you do it right, everything will make mathematical sense. That's how simple it is. Hey, where'd this money come? It came from there. Where'd you get this money? Right there. What'd you do with that money? I put it over here. Why'd you put that there? Because I wanted this to happen for that, and here's where the money came from. That's it. Okay, it all makes mathematical sense. It already, because if they're knocking on your door, there's a reason why they're there. Do you understand? If you're doing tax evasion or whatever, right, and the IRS comes knocking on your door, they're there for a reason. You think they're just you think they're just randomly chose you? They let you dig. They already know you've dug yourself so deep in a hole. They just want to come to see if you're going to lie about it. That's going to be. Then they're going to put a penalty on you according to how many lies you tell. You cannot outsmart math. You can't. But maybe they want to see how long you're going to do it. I don't know. I don't know what the reason is. But if they're knocking on the door, they already know. They're going to see if you say, "Yep, I fucked up. Yeah, I did it. I tried to do this and I did." Okay, well, you're still going to get penalized, but maybe it's going to prolong the pain. I don't know. But if you come up talking about, I'm going to get a lawyer, I'm going to pretend I did this, tell your lawyer cannot break the laws of mathematics. Okay, it can't. Like if I was an IRS agent and I'm coming after you for tax evasion, I will make sure every everything I need to do legally to approach you properly or look at something or check out something. I'm going to make sure it's all straight. I'm not just going to do it without knowing, because I wouldn't want the case to fall apart. So I'll just make, hey, is that legal if I do this? Cool. All right, cool. I'll do that. Whatever it takes. You still got rules and laws to follow. I'm not going to let a debt slave out for a technicality because I chose not to follow the rules that are in place. I'm not doing that. No. Andre says when they pay sales tax, I get a check. Debt slaves are like, what the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? When they pay their mortgage, I get a check. What? A check? How do you get a check? The bank gets my money. You don't get nothing. Okay. Taxbone or backbone of the whole system. You can either be owned by the system or own the system. Exactly. Or flow with the system. They have no idea what Andre is saying. Nothing. When Andre says things like that, he's only talking to SMB family members. The debt slaves are like, what? What are you talking about? What do you mean? I don't mail my check to you. I mail it to Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo's not a person? You think Chase Bank is a person? That's not a person. That's a business. Most of you guys think, oh, my friend so-and-so works at a bank. Do you know somebody that works at a bank? That doesn't mean anything. Do you guys know that? You guys associate somebody working at a bank that they know about money. No, they just work at a bank. They're handling other people that have money in there. They're the they're the handlers of the money of people who have money. Exactly. They don't know that though, Andre. They don't know that. All right, it's just been 3 hours, man. I've been yip-yapping for 3 hours. Time for me to get off here. Thank you for Malika joining. Appreciate it. Alonzo, thank you for joining. Jumping in today. Much appreciated. Well, you guys have all access to the owners. Exactly. All excess passes to the owners. Excuse me. All excess passes to the owners. Yes. Thank you guys for joining. If you like this show, pass it to your friends, share it with your friends. And if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like. Here, let me put this up here for people that here's my Cash App. My Cash App, just in case you're listening in the car, is SavingsMinusDebt on Cash App. And if you have a question, just email me at savingsminusdebt@gmail.com. You guys can do that. Okay. You're welcome, B. Dean, for sure. You are very welcome. Thank you, Andre. And if you want to get on the SMD Discord server, the link is should be pretty much under every video in here. You guys can go into the details of a video. Go to Discord where there are other SMD family members that can answer different questions that you might have. Deeper, not as deep. It's all at different levels, okay? If you're curious about SMD, more about, and maybe, because I could be I just to go straight to the point, and it might be too deep for you. Maybe you need a different perspective coming from there's SMD family members in there that will help you answer those questions. I promise you. I barely even talk in there, barely, because I do all my talking here. Okay, yeah, make sure. This is International Minded is Andre's name on the Discord server, just for you guys to know. So if you guys go over there looking for Andre, you're not gonna see the name. It's International Minded, okay? All right, well, I guess I'm gonna wrap it up. You are welcome, Malika. Much appreciated. Thanks, Andre, as always, for coming in here. If you guys didn't check out the video I made with Health Wealth Podcast, you guys can check that out. I posted the link in my community area. And I will, you know what? I will actually add it to right now as we speak. After we get off, I'll add it to the playlist. I added to the playlist of collabs. I'll put it in there right now after we get off. And so you guys can check it out. So you guys don't have to go looking for it. I'll put it in the playlist right now. So just go to the playlist, look for collabs, and then you'll find the latest video I just did yesterday. Okay. All right. You guys have a good one. Later.